It's episode 55 of O-T-H Humanities, and it's our Game of the Year episode.
Is
we
it?
Knew. I think we kind of knew. I knew. Did you know?
Shit. I guess I'd better... I'd get a better write some notes. Wait, no, I've actually written notes!
Did you know?
Listen.
Who are you?
My name is Paddy, Patrick, if you know me in the real world, or sometimes Pat to my mum and dad. Don't call me that, it's weird. I'm Paddy, hi, who are you?
You were once referred to in the notes on that Stephen King book podcast that you do, Dark Tower, as Patty Smith.
Yeah. I wasn't
That
a
was a
singer.
moment to cherish.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
the point where
good times.
this is the point where I glance across to like a massive photo frame on my wall, and it just says, "This week's episode featuring Patty Smith." I just cut it out and just framed it.
Just kept it.
Anyway, 2015.
Who are you?
Shut up. What? It doesn't matter. Of course it matters. I'm Coffee Jesus. Let's get on with the show. Music, please. So, 2015 Ketchup, which was named badly because there was a box. 2016 had a crunch bag and featured a bag that crunched.
I did like the crunch bag. I was a huge fan of the crunch bag.
Never
What's
mind that.
new?
Never
What's new
mind
for 2017?
that. What can 2017 bring as we sit here at the start of 2018? I'll tell you what it can bring.
What could it bring?
Huddle closer, children. Huddle closer. A VoomphTube. It seems obvious really now I've said it. Let me tell you about the VoomphTube. So I caught the bus the other day to see the Hedron Super Collider, and I was having a wander around and I saw a bit that looked desirable. I asked what it was, and the bloke went, "This is the VoomphTube." So I snapped it off and I ran off.
Because you go to Geneva quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, Trent Barton thankfully run buses. It didn't look like it did.
It's 380 return on the weekends as well, isn't it?
Tanner, come on. Just a little bit more than Manchester. It didn't look like it did much, and it seemed like the natural evolution of the Game of the Year podcast when I saw it kind of sticking off the side of the Hedron Super Collider that I caught the bus to go and visit.
Brilliant.
That is the VoomphTube.
The VoomphTube.
So other podcasts do theirs in December.
Wrong.
Others run for 11 hours. But
Correct.
do they have a bit of a magical scientist place that taps into black hole powers and could be the end of all of us if somebody broke a bit off? So, and on the off chance, the VoomphTube does not give us all the categories. Got a knife.
Wait, is there a chance it might not do it?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're ready,
I think I'm ready for Woomph.
are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's fire up the VoomphTube. It's not doing anything. Oh.
What?
Oh. The room's glowing. Imagine balls, Paddy. Not those kind. It's not one of your normal daydreams.
That was...
What's going on? Shh. The whole... I feel like I should do as Professor Brian Cox. Like, imagine a potato bigger than the biggest potato you've ever seen.
See, you say Professor. I hear Farnsworth.
You should see there's the room's glowing. It's like a magical disco ball, but science. It's magical.
Okay. Has a category come out yet?
It has stopped.
Okay.
I can't get into it.
So, for listeners to the show, will hear this. So, I don't know what it is he's got, other than it's a piece of the tube from Geneva. Like, I have no idea.
There's a handle.
You know as well as I do. There's a handle.
I'm
okay.
going to try turning the handle. don't think it worked.
This is going to be a good show.
It's science. You can't mess with science.
This reminds me of a bit on a wrestling show where Vince McMahon tried to give out a lot of
Don't ruin
money,
the drama!
and he couldn't open the ball. He kept trying to open these little balls and it wouldn't work.
You've got no idea about pacing. Turn it back on.
I feel like this is good podcast time.
Shush.
Is it?
It's working again. Oh my god, I've turned the handle and it's working. Something is happening. And now stop, there's a hatch. There's a hatch.
Oh my god. Don't look inside, it might be the Higgs boson.
Right, let's have a look.
Sounds like you went outside.
This is the magic of science. What is an atom? It is a cornflake on life. The first category is Best Movie.
Oh wow. Game of the Year.
What? It's our Gubbins of the Year.
Stuff of the Year. SOTI. Stuff of the Year. Okay. Good category. Thanks, VoomphTube. Sorry. VoomphTube. Has it dispensed another category? Is it erratic?
No, it's answering you.
Oh.
Listen to the magic.
Oh. Would you like to go first, or shall I?
You can go first.
Shall I go first? All right.
I'm a generous ruler.
Do we be coy, or shall I just say it?
You can do a saucy little lead-in if you wish, or you can just come right out with it like
I'm going to give a lead-in
that you are.
I'm going to give a lead-in. I could just be. We'll see how clever I feel later. I might just start saying them later. I'll give a saucy lead-in. So I generally don't go to the movies very much anymore. They're quite a way away from my house. It's very expensive to park in our local cinema, and it's about a half an hour walk. And after half an hour walk, like, do I want to go out all that way to spend 35 quid?
£35?
That's probably a bit of an overstatement, but you know, like cinema, the tickets are like 12, 13 quid now, and you've got to spend, you've got to buy their.
There are certain days you can go to the cinema and get it cheaper. It costs me. God, I don't go very often, but on like Sunday nights, Monday and Tuesday here, it's like £5.60.
Nah, we've got a View. It's shocking. It's just at least 9 quid whenever you go, and it's yeah, and you can't even sit in the nice seats. Rubbish. When you do go, there's sometimes little shits, like when I went to see Jumanji this year, but never mind. So I don't go to the cinema much, and as such have kind of fallen away with Marvel films. I was keeping up with them for a while, and then Daredevil and all that stuff started coming out of the Telly shows on Netflix, and I started watching Daredevil, and I liked it, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, and I thought it was absolute tosh, and kind of just drifted away. I mean, I didn't watch Age of Ultron until this year. That's how behind I am. So we were, you know, in no way excited really for Marvel films. We went to see Doctor Strange at the start of the year, and that was kind of fun. Yeah, but I still was like, it was all right. You know, it was good. Don't really like Cumberbatch personally, though. Like, I just don't like him as an actor. He's off-putting to me. And then a trailer came out for a film starring a character that I generally don't care about, and instantly went to the top of the list. Thor Ragnarok.
Cool. Tell me about Thor Ragnarok. I don't think we've covered this on the show.
No, we haven't, because it's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. We haven't nerded out for a while.
We haven't. So, like I say, I didn't like Thor films. The first one was all right, and the second one was just. And because I haven't really watched many of the group films, like your Age of Ultrons and stuff, I haven't really seen much more Thor than that. And it's like, it's fine, whatever. And then this fucking trailer comes out of nowhere with goddamn, like, Zeppelin, the immigrant song, as the background music. I'm like, I'm sorry, what now? It's like,
it's fabulous trailer as well.
And it's
lots of Kirby all over the place.
Colours.
Made me smile lots.
Colours and smiles and bonkers designs on stuff and weird space and Jeff Goldblum. And it's like, where did this come from? And then the next trailer comes out and it's got this, like, synthy 80s kind of sleaze music over the top of it all. It's like, yes, film, keep that up for the whole film.
Banner's wearing a Duran Duran t-shirt.
He is. It's and like I think I even said to Laura at the time, if they can keep that up the entire film, this will be the best one I've seen in forever. So off we went to the cinema to see it, and bloody hell, it was brilliant. Like, exactly what the trailers make it look. It's just fun all the way through. Thor is now a character that is one of my favourites because of this film. I genuinely would never have said that up to 3 months ago. I thought he's alright. He's a bit boring though, isn't he? He's got a hammer and he's all noble and stuff, and he's a bit of a shithead, but he gets it done eventually. But this Thor is like, he's funny now, and he's almost more human. Now he's kind of been sort of stripped of his power, and his hammer's got smooshed. Just incredible character. Like, I really enjoyed him existing in his world, and like the interactions he had with Loki particularly. Like, again, I kind of think the whole Loki character is a little bit played out now, and they kind of go to him. They go to the well a few too many times. But Loki in this is just incredible. Like, so funny, and not kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're doing witty dialogue funny. Just like legitimately funny. The best Marvel villain I've seen in years. Kate Blanchett as Hela is just oozing charisma, and she's got good motivations. She's not very nice, but the motivations are good. They set her up well. She's properly terrifying as well. Carl Urban does a great turn as a side bad guy who's just a doofbag, and he's really funny. Jeff Goldblum is ridiculous. He is in 110% Goldblum mode. Just painted up with these weird kind of like Grandmaster face paint on, and just generally sleazing about the place in slippers and a robe. Like, yes, give me more of that. Valkyrie, the female character in the film, the new character, is brilliant. She's tough, she's badass, but she's not a cliche. And it stars my Marvel MVP as well, the Hulk. I love the Hulk. The Hulk is like a toddler. I love the Hulk so much, and they underuse Hulk. He just gets to be like, I smash, and this really tapped into Hulk being more of like a... He's smart now. It's a little bit... It's not a spoiler, fuck it. He's been Hulk for about 2 years at this point. He hasn't bannered out for a long time. And he's been living on this kind of rough fighting planet for a while. And he's famous now. He's a gladiator. He's a champion. He lives in luxury, and everybody loves him. He's got his face on the side of the thing. They have parades with lots of Hulk masks everywhere. You know, he's famous. In sort of some of the Planet Hulk stuff from the comics has been ripped out for this. And the whole scene, I know it was in the trailer, but when Thor gets chucked out into his first fight, and it turns out he's facing the Hulk, and the little, yes! I know him from work! Like, that sort of relationship between the two stays that good the whole way through.
With regards to like the Hulk, do you think, because I don't know, Thor's seen as initially as a character that maybe was a little one note and they couldn't do a lot with him. Do you think with them putting together two sort of opposites and creating this sort of buddy cop movie in space almost, that it brings out the best in each other and stuff? Absolutely,
yeah, they play off each other so well. And when you know, Banner comes out, when what's his name? Who plays Hulk now? Ruffalo.
Yeah.
When they reveal the Ruffalo, and he's just genuinely like bewildered, like, where am I? Where am I? What's going on? Where have I been? And like the different interactions between Thor and Hulk and Thor and Banner is just really enjoyable to watch. And it does, like you say, it elevates the characters. Like, Hulk feels more like the proper kind of Hulk that I like. The rounded, you know, kind of, he's got a brain. He's not just Hulk smash. He's got the power to think for himself a bit as well. And Thor's he's just become fun. Like, he's become a big sort of 60s, you know, Jack Kirby, colourful cartoon character now.
It actually looks like Kirby on screen, and I never... I mean, I haven't seen it beyond the trailers, but I was impressed with just that they'd realised Kirby in a way that I didn't think Kirby would ever be realised. That oftentimes it seems people in Western movies will look at something outlandish and comic book like and try and ground it in realism, and yet this just seems the right side of, let's take a Kirby design, let's just do it.
Yeah, they've embraced it and they've gone for it. And, I mean, fair credit as well to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is delicious. It's so good. It's on YouTube, you can find it, but it's got this sort of dirty sort of synth, sort of down, 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 down.
Oh yeah, it's one of the guys from... Isn't one of the guys from Sparks or something that's done it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Knowing you as I do, and knowing you pretty well, and considering the director of the film, I'm presuming you rather like Korg.
That's actually the one thing that rang a little bit hollow for me.
Really? Oh,
okay. See, I'm a man of surprises. Korg was the only part of the ensemble cast that I still liked him. I laughed. It was funny. But I didn't like the way he was more kind of like sort of bumbling and silly, and his voice didn't fit. Like, it was funny, but it didn't fit. Korg's, he's a man made of rock. Again, it was funny. Don't get me wrong. And the stuff with his friend Meek was very, very, very good as well. But he wasn't the Korg that I was expecting. And I don't know whether that played into it because I was so familiar with the comic Korg, who's, this big, rough, tough. He's made of rock. He's a rough, tough rock boy. Is exactly what you'd expect him to be. And it kind of felt like they were playing off more as like a goof character. So he was the only part I probably didn't enjoy. But I did still laugh. So,
Have you seen any YTT's other films?
I've seen What We Do in the Shadows.
What do you think of it?
It's fucking brilliant. It's really funny. We watched it on a whim the other week, last year, and I wasn't sure what to expect, and I really enjoyed it. It was kind of, again, just like all the characters are a bit rubbish, but it was kind of funny.
I ended up switching that off. It wasn't doing it for me. I have seen. I saw Eagle versus Shark, which is a New Zealand flick that he did with one of the lads from Flight of the Conchord in it, which was an all right indie film. I believe it did sort of pretty well and stuff, but I didn't realise that until sort of looking at Wikipedia that he wrote the original script for Moana as well. Yeah, which is kind of cool. But it's interesting as well that Thor: The Dark World, which didn't do very well at all, was kind of micromanaged massively by Marvel, and it just seemed like they gave Waititi sort of his I don't know, his own whim to run at things, and it's really run off.
Here's the paint box, have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's Kirby's paint box.
Yeah. So that was my film of the year. My film of the year was Thor: Ragnarok. CJ, what was your movie of the year in this Game of the Year show?
Okay, I'm just going to jump straight into it because a tasty little lead-in won't really matter because I'm being snotty and different. But I will take a cup of coffee beforehand. There we go.
Classic CJ.
So, thank you. Thank you, my friend. My favourite movie of 2017 was Ankoku Joshi, Girls in the Dark. Based on the mystery novel by Rikaku Akiyoshi. The movie's written by anime screenwriting wunderkind Mario Okada, who's responsible for a whole slew of stuff ranging from Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, Lupin the Third, to Ubisho Nani no Asakura, A Lull in the Sea, which made me cry more water than I realised was contained in my human body.
Oh.
So it is a live-action film, though, this. I think it's Okada's sort of debut with sort of proper films. It's about a girls' literature club where the leader that had brought all these girls together throws herself off the roof of the school, landing poetically in a bed of flowers, clutching a lily. Each of the remaining girls sits in somewhat of a late-night séance for the girl that brought them together, and each reads out a short story telling what their dead compatriot did for them, as well as implicating one of the other girls for the reason behind the lily, and hence the death.
Okay.
But there's also secrets to each of the girls that they don't let on in their own story, which come to light in the stories of the others. I enjoyed the film a lot, but there was something towards the end that just didn't sit with me. This element of the fantastical kind of fairy tale about the piece, which suddenly you had to kind of take on board and accept it as part of it, whereas it seemed very much like it was grounded in the real.
Did it take a weird twist, like a twist at the end?
It was, like I say, this factor sort of kicked in, and it was on my mind since. It just didn't sit with me, although I accepted it as part of the whole, that maybe this was something they were going for. So I spoke to about the film to friends and to colleagues, but I couldn't quite shake this bit until I figured it out. This is a subtlety in the film, hoping that you're paying attention to the absolute minutiae, and it's hoping the audience would get it. And I did a good couple of weeks later, and it absolutely shook me. I was at work, I was just like cleaning up at a certain point, just stopped, and just went, fuck.
Okay.
That it just fell into place. To have a film this good, not spell out something this important to the climax of it, and leave it down to paying attention, completely happy that a lot of the audience might not get it, is supremely confident and brilliant, and you get the feeling that Western storytelling may well have dumbed that down or focus tested it. If people have gone like, well, I didn't quite understand what had gone on in the end there, but it was genius, and it was risky, and it absolutely shook me. It's coming to UK indie cinemas in February. It's part of a small tour of Japanese film, which includes Studio Bones' Sword of the Stranger, which is one of my favourite films of all time, which I'm going to get to see on the big screen finally. So I'm going to go and see this in February on the big screen and support it. But I would wholeheartedly recommend you do too. So yeah.
So what was the name of this film again? To spell it out for people.
It's called Girls in the Dark. Although it's coming to the UK under the title of The Dark Maidens. But it's fantastic. It's a really, really good film. But like I say, there is this part towards the end where it's not spelling stuff out, and I kind of went, when I was watching it, I kind of went, huh.
I want to ask you more questions about it, but I don't want to, because I don't want to kind of inadvertently spoil anything. It sounds like the sort of film you just want to go and watch.
But I also think it's good that somebody who's considered sort of somewhat of a wunderkind within anime screenwriting, who's really prolific, who's really highly regarded, has come to the big screen, has adapted a novel that's very highly regarded in of itself, and hasn't just tried to go headlong sort of for the end, or just sort of cream it up into something that's more, popular, or would sit a little better within the mindset of the masses, that's allowing it to be quirky, because it is a really quirky film, and not done on a massive budget. It looks great, no problem there. Cast are fantastic, but to have this little twist towards the end, and for me to, like, a good 2 weeks later, not being able to quite shake this bit out of my head and just go, oh my god,
jeez,
it was genius. It was absolute genius. But I loved it, and like I said, I'd recommend that. There's a lot of good films going on that particular Japanese tour that's going around the country. But yeah, and it's a really good movie. Also, do go and see Sword of the Stranger, because it's just it's a load of the folks behind like Cowboy Bebop that did it.
Oh, cool! You said all the right things. Like, I've been watching Lupin recently, and it's really really good. I really like it.
Yeah, she's a very, very talented lady, but like I say, just for a film to be that risky, and for that moment to be towards the end where they were happy with me not to get it, and for it to even flummox me, and then for me to suddenly work it out, like as if like they were maybe counting on people watching it a second time or something, and figuring it out like more as it went on, like a movie that grew with you.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved its pieces, and I'm waiting for the big screen for that second watch. So
superb.
Yeah.
Cool. Are we back to the tube?
We are back to it is the VoomphTube.
VoomphTube. Could you just so I make sure this is right for the episode title, could you just spell VoomphTube for me?
Hold on, because it's in Switzerlandish.
Swissese.
No, don't, you're embarrassing yourself now. It's VOOMPH capital T UBE. VoomphTube.
Is the Voomp all lowercase as well?
Well, you can put a capital V on the start, because if you want, but that's entirely up to you, my friend.
Well, the font that we use for the episode art only has capital letters.
Oh, it's on!
Ah! Jesus!
It's on.
People at home may think that was a comedy
It's
screen.
looking at me. Oh, I think I did the wrong thing.
That sounded like it gained sentience.
I can't get into it again. 1 minute.
Oh my god.
Oh, there we go.
Ah!
Right, what we got next?
This is some great Foley.
Oh. Wanted to play more.
You can go first this time.
Okay then. Quite short and sweet on this one. The game I wanted to play more was Neo. I fell harder into this than most, I think. Despite being pegged as a Souls clone, I thought it came across as much of an evolution as the series as Bloodborne was. Love combat, challenged the world. It brought back a sense of Demon Souls dread. The fluidity of Bloodborne's combat, but sort of aligning that to the more physical side of demons fighting. That there were so many styles and weapons, variations to the battles, is to its credit, and I genuinely think it's really special. I think I started playing something else, or life got in the way, but I've got loads of it left to play. It's a brilliant game. I need to get back to it. Simple as that, mate.
That was quick.
Neo.
Because we've gone on at length about Neo, haven't we? So we don't really need to cover it that much more. I mean, it's well documented. I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to, but but we're not going to do that. No,
but I think
we're not going to talk about things we don't like, because that's not what this kind of show is. There's enough misery in the world as it is. We're not doing. This is probably a good point to address. We're not going to do any worsts at all this year. We're not doing any worsts. We don't think there's any point.
I think the thing is with Neo, though, that it was very much its own thing, and you either liked it or didn't. And in the aftermath of Dark Souls 3, which was just trying to crib what had come before, which threw a lot of Dark Souls 2's baby out with the bathwater, and kind of just seemed a little more cynical than the other games had been.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Neo was happy for you to get it or not.
Yeah, it's close. It's, for me, like it seems closer to like Ninja Gaiden than Souls, really. And I was never any good at Ninja Gaiden and didn't really like it, even though I appreciate that it is good. And the same for Neo. Like I can see that there's a game in there. Just wasn't for me, but yeah, it's interesting.
Sometimes you accept stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah,
I agree. What was yours?
Game I wanted to play more. Just going to get straight to it as well. Critical Darling, the Sexy Brutale.
Tell me about this, because Martin Charlton's raved about this, Morbid Beard's raved about it. I know there are a lot of people that are looking forward to it on the Switch, and given that indie games are selling large amounts on the Switch.
It's the new Vita, isn't it?
Well, I remember Oceanhorn from last year did well on iOS, I think, and then it came to PS4 and Xbox One, and I think it did like over 1 million there. Yeah. But they said that the Switch version had almost doubled anything it had done on any other system.
Jeez.
So it did, that was Oceanhorn. So I'm hoping that a few of these sort of little indie games can
would appear. It'd be a good fit.
Way, yeah.
It'd be a good fit as well. So Sexy Brutale, I picked it up about 2 months ago in the PlayStation sale that was on. It was like a ridiculous indie sale, and there's like a lot of stuff on the digital stuff. I was like, well, I think I picked up 4 or 5 different games that day. Abzu and Serial Cleaner, which was quite fun, and Sexy Brutale. And the reason, well, I'll explain what the game is, because it's a bit of an odd one. It's a weird puzzle adventure game. Basically, you're trying to save the guests at a hotel. The owner of the hotel is trying to kill them all, and the staff members that there are walking around and murdering them. Now, the game takes place in a single day. It is Groundhog Day style. So you start the day, or you start the evening in a room, and you can run around the mansion, you can look through keyholes, and you can kind of watch people interacting around. If they come in the same room as you, you have to run. Like, you can't stay in a room with someone, just to enable them to kind of enact their plans. And you have to basically see what they're doing and work out a way to save the person based on how they die. So the first time you play it, you'll kind of run around and watch what happens. So the first one, you chase a guy through a few rooms, and you watch him get to a cathedral, and one of the hotel porters turns up, tells him it's time to die now, and shoots him with a big gun. and he dies, and then time rewinds and you're back in the room again. It's like, right, save his life, go. So you can then get a bit more free roam to kind of walk around and see what's in all the rooms and inspect things. You can hide in cupboards and watch what happens in rooms you're not in. And in that, I was watching that the guy was like, "Oh, I'll pick this gun up later from this case." I'm like, "Oh, I could get in there and put a secret bullet in." But then you've got to go find the secret bullet, so you've got to run to a different room and sort of watch for a guy to do it. And it's all done on timing as well. So you've got a clock in the bottom right-hand corner ticking away, and you can see, right, I know that at about 1 o'clock he's going to dig through this safe, pull out nothing but garbage, and there's going to be a blank bullet on the floor when he's finished. So I need to be in that room at 1:30 to get the bullet, to get back, to get that in the gun, because he's going to shoot him at 4 o'clock. So and it's quite quick. Like even a 12 till 12 time takes about 5 minutes. Like, it is fast. And as you progress, like you save one person, that loop is then safe, and then you're off to the next bit of the mansion to save the next person and the next person. So you're kind of doing a series of missions, essentially, one after the other. It's really clever. And the problem I have with it, the reason I haven't played as much as I would like to, is because you have to think about it. You have to really want to pay attention. Follow what's going on, get like a roadmap in your head of what's happening when. And oftentimes these days, just from generally, I've got a lot going on at work. The season's cold and it wears you out. And I've been ill quite a lot recently and just haven't had the brain for it. You know, when you look at like a puzzle game and think, I can't think about this right now. I need to play some like filler material instead. Which is why I've not played more, because I played 2 or 3 nights of it straight and loved it, and the next night I was like, I can't. I was looking at it and I was like, I can't even read the title.
Sometimes you have to set time aside for the right games to truly appreciate them. Because as I'm going through Witcher 3 at the minute, but there's some points where I just think I'm not going to get the best out of this experience. I'm gonna smash on something sort of quick and arcadey that I can just sort of relax into. Yeah,
that's why I've been playing so much Binding of Isaac this month, because I can just turn it on, run around 15 minutes, die miserably, and then give it up. It's absolutely fine. Or
it still feels like it's taking a part in your day that's worthwhile.
Exactly. But yeah, Sexy Brutale is really, really clever and really, really fun, and the flavour text of it and the style of it is really unique. The music's great, really cool, sort of jazzy kind of soundtrack to it as well. It's just really clever. Really enjoyed it. I even solved the second puzzle by accident. I did a series of things. Like, he's going to... Oh, okay. I did it. Way! I was just hitting random buttons, trying random stuff out, and I just fluked it in the right order. On the first time I went to the important room, I kind of just hit the right buttons in the right order by accident. Like, I've done it. Way! But you could see the logic behind what I was doing. Like, when you trace it, like, I was doing the right things. I didn't know I was doing the right things. I was just hitting buttons to see what happened. And there's very much a sort of experimentation aspect to it. Like, you'll run around and you'll fail a few times, and the first time you'll watch the person die and think, right, when did they die? What happened here? And just the idea, just to trace it out, it's just really fun, really, really fun. I play it with Laura
as well.
Yeah, I've been playing it with Laura on the sofa, and it's good having a second pair of eyes as well. To like, right, well, he does that this time, she does that time. Why don't you try going this way? Okay, let's try that. And it's helped because, again, sometimes brain can't do puzzle good. So yeah, the game I wanted to play more was the Sexy Brutale.
Cool. Right then.
What's next?
Back to the VoomphTube.
Activating das VoomphTube.
There's a different button.
Okay.
I'm going to try this button.
Because
there's one, and it's a series of... It's a button, but there are a series of glowing lights amidst the button, like little tiny LEDs. Like, one's yellow, one's blue, one's red, one's green.
Okay.
I'm going to press that one. Let's see what happens here. It's changing. It's... Oh my god. Oh, the lights are flashing.
What's happening?
Go on, VoomphTube! God, this thing's great. They're going to miss this on the Hadron Collider.
Oh my god.
I caught the bus too.
We found it. We found the Higgs boson. It was this.
This is what they seek out black holes with.
Sick beats.
There we go.
Is that it?
And it's open!
Hey!
No faffing about. I'm fingering the VoomphTube. Steady. I've got it.
What you got?
Best gaming moment.
Okay.
Go on.
I'll go first. Okay. Yeah. My best gaming moment this year is a moment that I have done before, but a moment that I've never done in this fashion.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it. My guest...
I think you phrased that really well.
My glebe, my blam, my best gaming moment was beating Ornstein and Smo on my own as a one bro.
Was that this year?
It was this year. It was technically it was last year because it's 2018 now. We're talking about 2017, but technically you're right. Yes, it was this year.
Hold on. I'm going to tell the VoomphTube about this. Paddy, I don't know if when you're looking for. Hold on, I'll open up a bit. 1 minute.
Hang on, do it.
I don't know if you know about this when you're checking out black holes and the other side of space and you're researching into time travel. But Paddy being Ornstein and Smo as a one bro. So I've told it. I don't know quite how it'll.
Whoa!
This is about you, bro.
Oh, that kind of died a bit early, didn't it?
I think that last bit was for the people that aren't one bros. I think that's what he's telling me. I'm feeling like C-3PO listening to R2-D2 at this point and just knowing everything. I can interpret it. I can see through time and space.
Oh God,
it's a burden.
Just by contact with the VoomphTube. So Ornstein and Smo, they've never actually really troubled me that much before. I know that we had our own problems when we tried to co-op them on one bro, and I did it in one go and then could not help you for Save My Life.
I remember that.
Generally, Ornstein and Smo have never been a big deal for me. Like, I've always been able to get past them in a couple of goes. You know, I think on my first run of it, I got through in like 3 or 4 attempts, didn't I? I remember our podcast chatting about that, being quite surprised. Like, no one's so bad. What's the problem? It's fine. So I kind of, having always fluked them, I thought, oh yeah, this will be easy. I can do this, no problem. And coming back as a one bro is just a whole different story. Because none of your shit works anymore. You summon, there's no point bringing Solaire because he's baby piss weak, and if anything is a hindrance when you're fighting them at level 1. He's got nothing, and they become stronger, so there's no point bringing Solaire in at all. If he even follows you in the room, you know, outside of getting in a fight with the giants outside, because he's not clever sometimes. I had to actually learn how to fight them. And it's well documented on YouTube. Thank you everyone who's watched so far. But like having to learn how to space them, how to pace them. Not even learning that, he's going to swing up and do the big smash. It was more about reacting to how they pace themselves and the speed of the fight. It's very much, it's not really about the individual attacks. It's about the pace of them. With Ornstein with his sort of slow, lumbering sort of smashes and charges, and Ornstein whizzing in and out and sort of shooting lightning from a distance and then closing that distance, you know, in a heartbeat. It's like, oh, he's here. Having to relearn that fight was humbling in a way that I've not had in that run so far. Like, it was my first real sticking point on this one bro run. And I know, again, like when we co-opted it before as one bros, we did quite well with it, but having to do it myself and having to realize, I've got to do this with no help for YouTube. I can't even cheese it by summoning in a human and pretending. I've got to do it properly for YouTube. When I beat them after something like 30 attempts, because I was cutting out my video for my one bro teaser earlier, and there were 97 deaths. I'm pretty sure a good third of them were Ornstein and Smo. After that long, like, that was a rush unlike anything I've felt this year at all. Like, that was the moment this year of like triumph and sort of cathartic validation of all my effort. And I know for many people, the Ornstein and Smo run is where runs go to die. Like, that's where a lot of people stop. Being able to get through it, I was like, I can do this. Like, I'm filled with spirit and determination, and I know that I drifted away after I beat the Four Kings, but Wombro is coming back. I'm recording some more this week.
You are indeed, and you did that amazing trailer for it as well.
Thank you. I did a Gurren Lagann trailer style intro, and it took 3 days of work for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I'm immensely proud of it. But yeah, I'm filled with vigour. I can do it, and watching that back, when I was cutting that trailer back up and thinking, I got better at that. I got better and better. Watching the health bars get smaller and smaller before the inevitable
You'll have a YouTube haircut soon.
Oh my god, I'm going to get some green hair dye and some clippers and just go nuts. I don't need to have a real job. I can look like whatever I want.
Grady the Star, because you'll be Paddy with green hair and you'll just lose the dust and
maybe
you'll be an actual star. All the star dust will become a star again. I didn't really think this through. Carry on.
Maybe a gradient.
No,
grad dust. So yeah, for me, yeah. So the best moment all year, like outside of anything, like I really thought about this as well. I sat here for probably half an hour thinking about this yesterday, and I can't think of a single moment that made me just punch the air and just like, you know, when you're so happy you've done something, like you flex. Or like you do like a hurrah, like that, like an anime, like hurrah, like that's what I was doing. Unironically, I couldn't stop myself. I was that happy with myself. So yeah, that was my game moment of the year. Properly beating On Seen the Smoke as a Wombro, as a baby boy.
Congratulations, princess.
With nothing but a stick with nails in it and a bit of fire.
Yeah, and considering that you previously couldn't help me out with it. At all. I could help you in your game, but just the apathy.
Well, if you want to do it, we'll piss it now.
Yeah, well, I have to see.
We'll piss it.
I don't know.
Yeah, and this is probably a good point. Just to say thanks to everyone that watched Wombro. I really thank you for all the comments. It was really, really encouraging, and it was a lot of fun to do. And I know I drifted on the questions after a while, but do you know it's really hard to think of good answers to questions and also beat An Orlando at the same time? I'm not that good. I'm not LeBeau. I can't do that. And yeah, thanks everyone. And like the response to the trailer video has been really good, and I'm very much looking forward to getting back in the saddle. First up is probably going to be Gravelord Leto, as long as I've got something that creates light. I may have to divert first and get a light.
Do you say Gravelord Leto?
Nito. Don't with that. Keep that.
Because now I can't imagine him as anything other than that Burke from 30 Seconds to Mars underneath the skull mask. Because that, let's face it, that is the sort of jacket that he'd wear.
A jacket made out of...
You've ruined it. You see, clearly he's the one that you've got to fight first. Now I've said it. Now I've given you that extra push.
He's got to die, isn't he?
Gravelord Leto.
The best graves are the ones I dig myself. Fuck off!
Yeah, I don't listen to any other grave diggers. All I listen to is my own shovel. Digging.
I turned up to the Dark Souls script recording covered in skeletons.
I remember when he was on MySpace and somebody asked him, like in this chat, like, what other music do you listen to? And he's like, I only listen to my own music.
Prick. Die in a fire.
What a doofus.
God, I hate him so much. So yeah, we've gone on a bit there. I banged on a bit about that.
It's okay to bang. Apparently.
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag Pornhub.
Hashtag VoomphTube. What's your moment of the year, man?
Best gaming moment of the year is Warframe: The Second Dream.
Oh shit, we're going here.
Yeah, we're going here.
Now, before we start, there's going to be
no spoilers.
Yeah, we have an episode about this coming up for the Humanities in the future. So we're not getting in specifics, so don't worry, you can listen, it's okay.
This is the generalisation, I guess. But it's a moment, a quest that's so good, it made me stop playing. Let me explain.
Explain? No, because the same has basically happened to me as well.
Now, the Second Dream is 150 hours into Warframe, and has, since I started the game, been this sort of hushed secret among the fan base. Like, have you started the Second Dream yet? Has been sort of whispered excitedly, like all over the internet, and yet none of the community want to spoil it for you. They all want you to discover it absolutely on your own. And given that so much in like Western films and games is just spoiled all over the place, often before it's even come out, I quite liked that, and I like the reverence that the fan base gave it, and they want everybody to have the experience that they had. This is also the point where Warframe begins to lean into storytelling. The quest itself is amazing, starting with a brilliant villain in the Stalker, high stakes in the things that you're going to try and attempt. These amazing pieces of dialogue which take place throughout the missions, which were just put shivers on my arms. Like One Piece during this absolutely brought tears to my eyes. This was midway through sort of the series of levels. The culmination of all this floored me. It absolutely floored me. Just brilliant moment after brilliant moment. I sobbed through it as much as it lit me on fire. The revelations thereafter are huge, and I'm hearing that the next quest, The War Within, may even be better again.
I've heard that too. So, like, for me, it straddles that line. It does that thing. Again, we are skirting around the actual details here. It does a similar thing to what Dragon's Dogma did by saving some really dunk shit for like 100 hours in.
But the point...
And you're like, what?
It started to tease a little before this, where it started to mention the reason that the Lotus, which is the character that speaks to you throughout the game, why she came to this universe, and one of the after effects of her being in this universe, and they describe her as barren, and that seemingly you believe that taking the Warframes under her wing and sort of fighting that this universe doesn't fall in the same way as the old one. That's kind of interspersed, almost sort of thrown away a little way before you get to the second dream, and I was like, oh, okay. But the second dream, all of it was just gobsmacking. The levels looked phenomenal. They were great to play. They were inventive. But the dialogue and a lot of the, I'd say the large percentage of the voice actors are all people that work at the studio.
Yeah, totally.
And the conversations between a number of the characters as you're going through these early levels in the quest are superb. And Reb Ford in particular ballparks like some of these lines, and one of them just even before the final stuff just knocked the air out of my lungs. And like I say, that ending, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
All of it, like one after the next, after the next, after the next. The point where the kind of music comes in, like all of that, like onwards is just phenomenal. Like proper, super cinematic, and not in a Hollywood way. It just feels just important, like you've read something in a book that will stay with you forever. I mean, I had to marinate in this moment to try and process it afterwards, and I had to leave Warframe alone for a good while. I mean, I think, God, was it 6 weeks, 2 months? I mean, within this time, I watched others play through it and their reactions to it and cried again. There was one point where I was on a bus coming back late from Nottingham, and I was watching it on YouTube, and I was biting my lip again, so I didn't do one of those kind of cries. I mean, I was that affected by it. It's one of the greatest moments I've ever experienced in gaming.
And it's 100 hours in.
It's
ridiculous.
Phenomenal.
I can't believe it. And like, I have no comments to add other than, yeah, brass, same. Like, literally, that's you've nailed it on the head. Like, I did the same. I've played it, and I played a little bit afterwards, and I've had to take a bit. I haven't played it since I did the second dream.
But you were going to me like, you were going like, oh my God, I've just done the second dream. I have to talk to you about it. Please do the second dream.
Mate,
I have to talk to you
about
it.
You're like, oh, I'm nearly there. I'll do it in a bit. Like, no, I know what you like. Do it. Do it, nerd.
But even knowing the way that the fan base had processed it, especially knowing the way that you processed it just before I got to it, I think it's one of those things that you have to do on your own.
Yes.
I couldn't. I mean, I've seen a few high-profile YouTubers sort of playing through it on streams and stuff and making like quippy, quirky comments as they went along, and it turned my stomach because it was one of those where I was staring at it so intently that it was so personal that it was affecting me to such a degree where I don't know, I still remember like that Saturday night, and I was sat in the living room, sort of duvet on the couch, and I was just, the rest of the room had just sort of blurred into non-existence. It floored me. Going from no story to suddenly that was just.
I think Laura, let's just take a quick Laura break here. Laura, you know the Warframe Second Dream stuff. Did you watch that with me? You were there for some of that, weren't you? Don't do specifics. Don't say anything. The Warframe bit with the yeah. So I watched something with Laura, and it was like, look at this. You have to look at this. Look at what's happening on my TV screen now. Look at this.
Apparently, I have to look at this.
She has to look at this. Thank you, Laura. You can go back to your anime now.
But it was just. I mean, the game is iterative, so it builds on foundations that it had when it started like 4 years ago, and even though they've tightened those up and they've improved them, you know, there's a lot about the game that doesn't explain itself well, and the further you go on, you see the team getting better and better and taking more and more risks with it, and it's a joy to see an independent studio doing that. But even at this point, where I've still got tons to do, that they got to this point and they did this, it's just jaw-dropping. It is very, very special, and yeah, it affected me massively. It was literally I was enjoying the design and the way that the game plays, and the dialogue throughout. The levels were great; they were really inventive. But the end moments of that quest were perfect, absolutely perfect. The Stalker's such an amazing villain as well. That guy's voice is phenomenal. I had no idea who he is or what he does at that studio, but my word, that's a proper voice for a villain. And yet there's this almost Geralt-like quality of him seemingly being imposing while speaking softly. Yeah. And it's just, the delivery's amazing.
It reminds me in a bit. It reminds me in a very sort of loose sense for me. Like the last time I can remember a game doing this, like dropping such a big, like whoa moment for me, like probably Soul Reaver 2 at the end.
All right.
The end of Soul Reaver 2, when spoilers for Soul Reaver 2, vampire like Blue Raziel ends up fighting human Raziel, who was I think a Seraphim. So he's the one that killed them all. And the Soul Reaver sword turns on himself, and then Kane appears to pull the sword out of him, because it turns out that the soul inside of the Soul Reaver sword was him the whole time. Like, oh, shit! And suddenly you have to go back and think about everything you've just seen, like, oh, I get it. And I remember it being I think 16 or 17 playing that, and just jaw on the floor. Like the whole like last 10 minutes of that game, I was just like, what is this? Shit.
But it's lovely when you'd sit in the midst of something and you're going like, it's not as if, well, I'm not so sure about that bit, but that bit's really good. Oh, and that bit makes up for like that. Literally all of it. All of it.
All killer, no
all
filler.
Of it. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Brilliant. Cool. So, I'm going to propose now we take a short tea break. Tea and a pee, and return back with the next VoomphTube after this break.
Yes, play the music. So we're back after all that lovely, lovely music to delve into more of the magical wonderment
Of the VoomphTube. Before we did, I went and got a drink in our break. I know we haven't done What Are You Drinking yet, because... I don't know, why haven't we done that? Usually we're pretty good at that. I'm drinking a new tea.
Okay, tell me about the tea that you were drinking.
I'm drinking... it's a loose leaf tea. I'm experimenting in the world of loose leaf. I'm not using bags for the first time in, ever. I tried this one at our tea place, All About Tea, which is now being renamed to Gadsden's, after the man who owns it, Andrew Gadsden. So Gadsden's in Portsmouth. It's still wonderful, the website, allabouttea.co.uk. Buy some tea. I'm not being sponsored, though, really should be. I'm trying one called Wendy Tea. Wendy Tea. Now, Wendy Tea is, it's a flowery tea. The bag describes it as a magical fairy blend of garden flowers and herbs. Now, Wendy Tea contains some rubios tea. It contains rose petals, lavender, and marigold.
You mean, as they call it on the streets, rude boy?
Yeah, rude boys.
I like that vanilla rude boy.
Wendy rude boy tea. So I've got myself a little tea strainer which sits in the top of my cup. I actually purchased it with its own little glass cup, but the strainer fits basically all my cups as well. So I've been using that. It's currently brewing away. I've got to leave it for a few minutes before I'm allowed to even drink it. But it's a wonderful sort of it sounds very silly to say this now, but it's quite a flowery tea. Quite a fresh one. Quite nice to drink in the evening. Not too much caffeine, so it's not going to leave you wired. It's just a nice pleasant tea. Just really nice, mild, really flavoursome, but not strong. It's just really tasty. Tasty tea.
I am glad that you and your taste buds are happy. Once again, I'm drinking Guatemala Hey Hey Tenango, which I still managed to get a few bags of, even though it is out of season. So it's great.
You dusty slag.
That's me. Anyway. Are you going
to have to push one of the buttons again?
No, I think I've. There's a little microphone-y bit at a certain point.
What?
Let me try. Hello, VoomphTube. No, it's not working. Let me try it in Swiss. Hello, VoomphTube. It's on!
Oh, God. Oh, I can hear faraway calculations.
It's open.
That's quick.
I know. I'd see. I think I'm mastering.
I kind of miss the music.
What?
I miss the music.
It does so many things. You don't know science. Best TV.
Oh shit. You go. I went first last time. You go.
It's funny you should say that. You go. I go. Here we go. Is the catchphrase of Ultraman Geed.
Now that wasn't planned.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. Although when he does the you go, I go, here we go bit, it's to this bit which just sounds like Final Fantasy battle music, and it just makes me even happier. So yeah, Ultraman Geed. I got into.
Is it Geed or Geed or Gade?
It depends on who's saying it. I think it's Jido in Japanese, but yeah. So I got into Tokusatsu through Ultraman X a few years ago, which I ignorantly expected to be trashy but fun, but ended up really, really enjoying. It was the first Ultra series to be legitimately streamed in the West, and was not only a big success, but all the revenue ploughed into the next series, Ultraman Orb. Ultraman Orb took about 4 episodes to get going, but proved to be an absolute belter. The FX had come on a good chunk since Ultraman X. It told a complete different story, kind of Press Gang meets Indiana Jones meets Superman, and finished just wonderfully. Did 20 odd episodes and done, and then it did a movie, and then there was a prequel which only Amazon Japan has, although I've seen the first 3 of those and they're gobsmacking. Also in Juggler's Juggler, not only the best villain of the shows that I've seen, but the best interpretation of the Joker that I've seen on screen.
I'm sorry, his name is Juggler's Juggler?
Yes.
Like Juggles?
No, Juggglus.
Yeah, Glus. Yeah.
J-U.
Juggler, here we go. Typing sounds. Click.
It's amazing.
Let's have a look. I want to see. He's not what I was expecting.
He's a brilliant villain.
He looks like a Warframe.
I think in that form that you've probably got, yes he does. But It's Ultraman Orb was really good in that regard. He was he got a level of substance I've not seen with the Joker on screen. He got a level of personality which was only really seen in like the 60s Batman for me. Mm-hmm. But when they did the prequel on Amazon Video, you got to see him before he sort of walked towards the darkness, and you can see hints of what he became in his character, but the actor was almost like a different person again. It was really cool. So I enjoyed Orb a lot. So and considering how much I'd enjoyed Ultraman X, that was pretty cool that if something could follow on afterwards and be even better. Ultraman Geed is better than Ultraman Orb, I'd probably say. It tells the tale of Riku, who was left outside an observatory as a baby following a universe-wide cataclysm called the Crisis Impact. When a giant monster destroys his home, Riku and his alien roommate Pega stumble across a secret base located 500 meters below the Earth. Here Riku is told he has the ability to become Ultraman, yet Riku soon discovers that he is the son of the Ultraman universe's nastiest piece of work and greatest villain, Ultraman Belial. Despite this, he fights against his fate and against his father's aide, Kai, who is desperate to impress Belial. Belial, who's imprisoned in a rift across the other side of the galaxy. Riku's joined within this by the legendary Ultraman Zero, who resides in the form of an ordinary family man and salaryman, Litu, and a monster hunter, an amazing martial artist, Laiha, and former friend turned X-Files-like agent Moa. Given that Ultraman X's success fed into Ultraman Orb, and Orb was 90% more popular than X, Geed has to be seen to be believed. The sets are huge. They're intricate and they're so well crafted. The CG work on top of that is universally gorgeous, mostly limited to sort of amazingly colourful energy beams, but my eyes are going, I've never seen that colour before, or that one, or that one. But yeah, there were so many times where they'd have like bits of set that you just wouldn't see again in the rest of the series. Whether it would be like bikes at a train crossing, or like just like there's a fight in the water. I think in like a big lake in the city at the start of it, and it's just an excuse for brilliant suit actors to kind of do acrobatics amidst water and like the set. There's one where there's a scrap yard that's just, and they built like the little skips and all that kind of stuff. It's ace. It's amazingly written by an author responsible for young adult horror novels back in Japan. The direction's superb and it's wonderfully paced. That it puts its daftest episode right before some really, really dark stuff cracks off was just superb. It really kind of caught you off guard and then threw you off guard again. It goes into its final episodes truly facing the end of everything, with the odds already stacked against the heroes, looking like it's going to go sort of awry further. And the group approach it with such genuine, sincere belief and positivity in one another. It's wonderful. In particular, something that was underplayed towards the end, but really hit me was like a lot of the time with Ultraman Zero sort of residing in like salaryman Leto all the time. He's often pulled out of work and away from his family, and he's quite a bumbling, almost Clark Kent-like character. But he's a man that just does his job, and he loves to go home to his wife and to his child. And he ends up, being stolen away, having to become like Ultraman Zero and being part of that, and knowing that he's lying to his family and stuff. But with the end of the world seeming like it's going to happen, seeing Leto spend his final day with a money no object treat day with his family, yet at no point becoming sad, just appreciative of their love, their effect on his life. It was gorgeous. And the Ultraman Zero is this old school hero full of Western bravado, that he kind of acknowledges this as being like the purest bravery before Leto transforms for the final battle, it just chokes me up, and it's all sort of contained in a kind of like a sort of like this level of just approval, and I loved it. Plus, coffee may save the universe.
Of course it does.
It may have a part in it. Maybe
Jesus.
It may in the final plan. Maybe.
Shush.
We'll see.
I have a question.
Shush. I haven't finished.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
All right then. Do you need to have? Because you mentioned several Ultramens so far. Do you have to watch any of the other series to be able to get into this? Do you think, or could you watch it separately?
All of the series.
So if I turned it on that now and watched Ultraman Guide without watching any of the other Ultramans, would it make sense, or would I have to go back and watch X or whichever? Was it Orb or X was first?
Well, X was the first one that's on Crunchyroll. But
the first of the new breed, yeah.
It's been going since the 50s. But you can jump into sort of any of the series, and they're pretty much like their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll often get different Ultramen coming in from different points in time. There's a really good film that I could probably nudge you towards, which is like Tokusatsu's probably the best director at the minute. Is a gentleman called Sakamoto-san, and he did this fantastic film called Mega Monster Battle Ultra Galaxy Legend, where he essentially gets all the Ultramen together and does a Green Lantern sort of space epic with this, the young son of the king going to try and steal the ultimate weapon, and it turning him evil and becoming like Ultraman Belial and stuff.
Okay.
And that's a really fun movie, but all of the series sort of exist absolutely on their own. So you can watch Deed without watching anything else. You just accept the heroes as they are and stuff. And yeah, they they stand on their own. But
okay,
it was brilliant family entertainment. There's something for everyone. And I like the fact that in this days where CG is seemingly always the answer, to see craftsmen build sets like this is just wonderful. And there's almost the element of kind of, I suppose you can say, the wrestling and stuff, where you see a guy in a suit fight a man in a suit, but you learn to have an appreciation for the art and for the craftsmanship, and I fell in love with it. I just think it's a great series, and it led me into other tokusatsu. X led me into a lot of other tokusatsu stuff, but there's just loads of heart in it, and it's sincere, and it doesn't appear to have gone through rigorous amounts of focus testing or anything. I mean, a lot of the time with tokusatsu stuff, I watched the Space Squad movie at the weekend, which was just great fun. But a lot of the time when you get these stunt teams together and you get them into a piece of location scout, and you just get the feeling that the 8-year-old kids, they'll be like, well, I can jump off that, we can have a fight off that, we can do this, and the director's like, oh yeah, and I can do this, and I can do this. But the Ultraman series kind of lean into the practical effects more than most, and it's just a great series. So I found out last week there's a movie on the way. Ultraman Geed, the movie. Connect Them, The Wishes, which is a great title.
Okay.
Which says in the write-up, the giant artificial brain Gilbaris is trying to eliminate all intellectual life forms throughout the universe. Ultraman Geed confronts the harsh fate against a mighty enemy who withstands the power of the Ultra Warrior's light. Ultraman Orb, Ultraman Zero, and Jugless Juggler rush towards the crisis.
Oh my god.
And the heated feelings inside Riku awakens Geed's ultimate form, Ultimate Final. I'll have me a bit of that.
That sounds silly. I'll enjoy that.
But we've had conversations as well whereby, so much of Western stuff is just trying to ground itself in reality, and I quite reality's grim enough. Thank you. I like the stuff that's joyous, that's wild, that just seems like somebody's gone, oh man, we could do this, and nobody's gone, oh, grow up. They've gone, oh yeah, that'll be really good fun.
Yeah. The answer is yes.
But you've got Crunchyroll. Watch the first app and see how it moves you. It's just I warmed to it, and like I say, the sets in this one are just phenomenal.
Sounds great.
So that's mine.
It's
Thanks,
yours.
man.
Well done. Good words.
Tell me about your words.
Okay, I watched loads of telly this year. Not proper telly though. I watched lots of anime and lots of YouTube. I don't watch proper telly anymore. Like, I don't have the energy for it no longer.
Who does?
Who does? I watched, this is the year on YouTube where I finally decided to, really, really fall with the Game Grumps. They're just, just genuine warm guys, it's just fun to watch them. I found a newfound love for the PlayStation Access guys. I watched Metal Gear Stupid over Christmas, which was a delicious delight, and you should all seek it out. It was very, very funny. There's even some cool Dark Souls YouTubers now. Zero Lenny has been very, very funny. Does Broken Sword playthroughs of all the games, and really well played and really well edited and genuinely really, really funny as well. Outside the usual lol meme stuff, it's a good laugh. And I also watched a lot of anime. And I really had to try and think quite hard about what I thought was best. I watched a lot of good second seasons this year. I watched second season of Food Wars, which was just very, very, very good.
Yeah, my mate Pete's a big fan of that. The Pete comes around and watches the Tokusatsu with me.
Yeah. Food Wars, or Shokugeki no Soma, as it's officially known, has just been a delight this year. And then with JoJo references, so that's always a plus. I watched the second season of Konosuba as well, which remains just fun. And
that's another one of Pete's favourites. I think we get on.
Joyous. It's so much fun, and they're just such lovable doofs, and they all like each other. But that's not the best show I watched either. I really like Lupin the Third. That was a good show this year. It's not my favourite though. I had to try. There were two, and I think I've made the right decision. I'll say the one that wasn't. We watched Assassination Classroom this year, and I did not. After the first 10 episodes, I was almost checked out of it. I was like, nah, this is not for me. By the end, legitimately upset about an octopus monster. Laura was crying tears next to me on the sofa, and she's giving me a face now. She was weeping about that octopus.
I've been staring down the live action film of that on my streaming site.
I've heard it's great. I liked it so much. My mouse mat is actually now the face of the alien, Koro Sensei. That's our mouse mat now. You
gave that quite a leeway then to go like 10 episodes when it wasn't doing it for you.
Laura was really enjoying it, and it was kind of her pick, because we usually trade off what we're watching, and it was her pick, and we usually watched it with dinner, and it started to get better about episode 10, and for me anyway, it started to it made more sense. But
Laura was enjoying it.
But Laura was enjoying it. Yeah, and then by the end we were both hook, line, and sinker. But that's not the best show I watched this year. I know I've gone on about the ones that aren't the best, but I just felt like I had to talk about them. Cause
is it the best show that Laura watched this year?
Is Assassination Classroom the best TV show you watched this year? No?
Food Wars.
Okay, Laura liked Food Wars better. Fair enough. Okay. There you go. Hot off the press. So my favourite
out of
show...
the oven, rather.
Ooh, shush. It's crunchy. My favourite show I watched, I know it didn't technically start this year, but I don't care. I watched My Hero Academia, finally.
Okay, yeah, I know Timur Hussein's a really big fan of this, and I'd seen episode 1. And,
well, here's the first note I've written.
I've got unfinished business with it, shall we say?
Here's the first note I've written about that. It's the show every cunt bangs on about, which is one of them shows. It's one of them shows that everyone talked about, and I was like, don't really care if everyone's going on about it. I'd rather wait until it's kind of died down a bit, because I never respond well to that. I don't know about you, but I don't. Yeah. When everyone's saying watch this, it's really good, you kind of go in thinking, oh, it's going to be good, whereas we came to it on our own terms. We picked out the list and chucked it on the Crunchyroll and let's start this tonight, let's give it a go.
I think the point where I turned my head towards it was when only Timur was banging on about it, and was banging on about it quite massively. And Timur, the last time I heard Timur give something that much of a go was Psychopaths, which was just fantastic. Which is
a great show. And the Vita game is free on Plus this month.
Yeah, it's also on PS4, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know, actually. Definitely on Vita. I don't know about PS4. The Vita version certainly, though. But anyway, we digest. So, My Hero Academia is a show about superpowered humans. There's lots and lots and lots of them in the world now. Something like 90% of people now have a power called a quirk. Some of them are brilliant, some of them are crap. But such is the way. It's... Magneto's ideal society, basically. And the ones with the best powers get to go to the superhero school, which I've completely forgotten the name of now. And the show focuses on a kid called Midoriya, who is quirkless. He doesn't have one, and he's grown up idolizing All Might, which is the Superman of this world. He's the best hero. And he's grown up idolizing All Might. He loves him. He says, yeah, when I'm big, I'm going to have this power, that power, that power. And he gets to a point where he realizes he doesn't have one. He's quirkless, and among his own peer group, he's ostracized, and his friend, the bully he hangs out with called Bakugo, rubs it in.
You're not going to spoil this, are you?
No, I'm not spoiling it.
I know this twist, so don't spoil it for people.
Yeah, but things happen, and he ends up with a power. That's all I'll say. It was if at this point that was a spoiler. Come on, we're going to do 40 episodes with no power. Come on now. Just colouring the rough strokes. Then, I didn't expect I would like it as much as I did. I think the cast of characters is a massive part of that. The class of kids in this superhero school, like 20 of them, all have their own personalities, their own skills, their own powers. They interact with each other in different ways, and they all seem very real. There's only a few of them that kind of are background characters per se. A lot of them are always involved, and I'm not sure who my favourite is because they're all good in their own way. And that's a sign of a really good cast, I think, when you're not sure who your favourite boy or your favourite girl is because there's choices. Which, to be fair, best girl is the frog girl. Fight me, internet. Frog is best. But even the side characters and the teachers of the school all have their own moment to shine, and even the people that are a bit rubbish kind of win in a way that's very much like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Because in that show, sure, there are the characters that are rubbish, but they get wins every now and again. They're not just the butt of every joke. Sometimes they get the bus, they get the win. And it's the same in this as well. The characters you wouldn't expect suddenly have these moments of oh crap, they're actually really cool. I didn't realise how cool they were. The character I probably hate the most was the one with the kind of the squishy head blobs, who's the kind of the classic anime perv character. Even he gets a few moments of, oh shit, he's actually brilliant. Fair enough. I like you now, I think. I think All Might is probably the best, my favourite take on a Superman character I've seen in a very long time.
You see, this is another one of the things that bothers me, that everybody that says that doesn't like Superman. And I am somebody that really, really loves Superman and think that the people that don't get Superman don't get Superman.
No, so I think in terms of his powers set, in terms of the power set compared to the
Superman
man
archetype.
Yeah, power set compared to the man himself. It's very different. But there's stuff going on that's that kind of grounds it, and you really start to understand what it means for him to use his power, and just the way it builds up to its crescendos at its season breaks, the fights it builds up to, because it always ends in a fight. And the sort of the power of, learning what a hero you can be. And, the catchline of the show is go beyond plus ultra. Find your limit and go past it. Improve, get better, do better. It's incredibly inspirational to watch. And the soundtrack, oh my god, the soundtrack. The main song from it, and if you have been on YouTube, anime YouTube, you'll know which song I'm talking about. But the main track from it, called "You Say Run," is one of these things. It's one of those. It goes with everything. People have put it over the tops of loads and loads of different scenes in anime and movies. And I saw someone cue it up with a Speed Racer film, the ending of that. Loads of JoJo ones I've seen as well, because it's always a win. But this one piece of music is just the most inspiring, ridiculous, pump-up nonsense I think I've ever heard. And I've got it on my MP3 player, and I listen to it on the way to work. Or when I've got something to do, I'll put it on, yeah, you can do it, come on, bring it up. And this song just builds and builds and builds, and then it drops out in the middle, and then it comes back so damn hard with triumphant trumpets and this melody that just kicks over. And it's probably top 5, songs I like from anime easily. It's what prompted me to make a folder of anime music on my phone just to listen to on the way to work. That's what started it, because I had to have it on me. I needed it. And I did not expect to like it. I don't like school shows. Laura's watched about 3 or 4 of them in recent succession, and I've hated basically all of them. But this was just... The characters have so much heart, they have so much spirit, and they feel like people you would like. Like characters you would... Even the ones that are grumpy and miserable, you like them. And they like each other. And that's a big part of it, and they help each other out through their problems, and they're friends. They're friends.
There's a lot of heart and a lot of bond between them.
So much heart. And I am gagging for season 3 now. Like, I know the manga's out, and I'm tempted to read ahead, but I'm going to stick with it and not watch it. I'm going to try and do it like we did with JoJo, by like not reading the manga, just watch the anime. As soon as we finish season 4, that was it. I was allowed to read the manga. But with this, like, I'm sticking with it, and we're going to watch it together.
Did you watch it sub or dub?
Sub. Sub. But the bits I've seen of the dub are quite good as well. The guy doing the voice of All Might did the voice of Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist. And it's a good fit. Like, it's like you hear it and think, yeah, fair enough, that's a really good fit. And the way he talks is like, yep, you picked the right man for this. But I think that I watched the sub with the Japanese voices, and yeah, just yelling. Me and Laura yell plus ultra at each other all the time now.
So Laura enjoyed it as well.
Laura loved it as well, yeah. And yeah, the climactic fight of season 1 is one of the best ones I've ever seen. Like, no joke. I've watched it back again on YouTube, and it's still just as good. Oh, All Might, you're the best. So yeah, that's my TV of the year. My Hero Academia. I banged on a bit there again, but there we go.
Still counts, because like season 2 was this year.
Yeah, it counts. Trust me, we're not in it doesn't really count territory on our picks yet. We'll get in there, don't worry.
Oh, okay, because
this year's been weird. This year, it's been a weird year.
Right then,
fire up the tube.
Let me see. There's a plethora of buttons here.
Is there a blue one?
Yes.
Hit that one.
Oh, that's quite short and
nice. That was good.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a cupcake has emerged from the bottom.
No, it just
Here's your cake, sir.
Like, one of them was just like a tweak, and the other one sort of gave us a dance routine. Which do you want to give us? Right, hold on. Here. It's back together.
What you got for me, bruh?
Game from another year.
Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Everything else on the list, basically. No. My game from another year is actually a game that has already been on one of my Game of the Year lists, but...
are you breaking the podcast even further now?
It's a game from another year, it's fine.
From another year?
But the game that from another year that I played... I thought I played
from
well.
Another year?
Another year. A game it was quite low on a list. Going back when we were doing 7s, it was quite low. I think it was 7 or 6 on that list, and it's one that I was playing and really enjoying, but kind of drifted away from shortly after the show. I didn't go back to it. Whereas this year I have been kind of confined to the Vita a bit more. Laura's been having a lot of TV time, so I decided to give this game another go, and that game was Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh yes,
because it's one of them.
About Castlevania and the Symphony of the Night.
Well, going back off the last one, it's another one that every fucker bangs on about, and it's like, well, I'll play it when I feel like it.
Also, one of the greatest ever episodes of Ken and Rint.
Well, true. I still haven't listened to it. I really will.
You should listen to that.
I will.
It's really good.
I will. So I played this in full this time, like. And when I say full, I don't mean the full 200, but almost. You'll know what that means.
This one devoured you, I'd say.
Oh, it killed me this time. Yeah, it clicked this time. And not to be that knob, but like a lot of the things I like about Dark Souls are in this game. Like really cool, unique areas with unique enemies. There are some rooms that have an enemy that don't show up anywhere else in the whole game. That enemy only exists in that one room. Or this variant of it only exists here. It's so like diverse things to do. You play as Alucard, who is the vampire son of Dracula, trying to stop a Dracula castle, and there are Belmonts involved. I'm sorry.
I don't know. The VoomphTube just kind of it switched on.
It sounds like it was going to do a wah 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 wah.
It's weird. The Space Hadron Collider.
I'm not I don't like this time. You're throwing me off.
It's not me. It's a piece of science.
Right.
And space. Please continue.
I didn't use any guides this time, really. I had to look a couple of things up when I got turbo stuck and ran around the entire castle trying to find what the fuck to do next and couldn't work it out and had to put a picture of my Vita up on the TV on the Twitter, and people were trying to help me. It's like, have you been there? Like, no, there's spikes there. What about there? I can't get through that door. What about there? I can't jump that high. I don't know what to do. Help me. And eventually twigged what I had to do after a quick bit of Googling. But generally played it pretty much sans guide. Apart from finding out how to get the proper end, but we'll talk about that in a second. Symphony of the Night is a game that has a lot of systems. Like, there's a lot of systems you don't realise. I didn't know that the fist weapon I picked up a few hours in could do fireballs until I was flailing around in a panic and a fireball came out of it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what was that? So I tried putting in Street Fighter controls and it was doing Hadoukens. And I'm like, I'm sorry now. I didn't know you could do this. Suddenly this is a new game. It's one of the founding Metroidvania games. It's the whole reason that word exists. And run around back and forwards finding powers to get further into the castle. Beat the game, beat each level, find new thing, find thing to unlock thing you were at before, but goes different way. And like you've played a Metroidvania, you know what they're about.
I do.
Such a good set of equipment you pick up. Like on top of the powers, like the bat flight and the wolf thing and the mist form and the super jump, you can pick up all sorts of weapons. There's swords and glaives and throwing knives and axes, and they've all got their own rhythm to them as well. Like a fist weapon plays very, very differently to a longsword. Like you have to fight much different way, and there's all sorts of sub weapons you pick up, like throwing knives and the holy bottle and the gun. I really like the gun. The gun is just shoots someone with electric power. It's just a gun. You've got this magic power. It's a gun. Brilliant. I've got a gun. The boss fights are amazing. Like really varied. Like they're not just hit the big thing till it fall down. Like they've all got their own attack patterns you have to learn and work around. And sure, if you play the game if you run around for ages not knowing where you are, you're inevitably going to level up a bit too much and the next box will be cake. But that's not a problem. Some amazing encounters designed again, like stunning set pieces that are just a room in this room mansion. So went through the game and I was going through really well and I got to the end and I beat the last boss and the game finished. I was like, right, well, I know there's something else. I know there's more because I've not been to, and I don't think it's a spoiler at this point, I've not been to the Upside Down Castle. Because I've not been there, but I've had credits. What have I missed? So it turned out, I looked at a guide, and it turned out I'd missed one of the only rooms that progress the story. There's about 5 of them. I'd managed to miss the 3rd one, or the 4th one, and thus didn't know the way to do the boss to do it good to unlock the second half of the damn video game. So I very nearly finished my run there, thinking, oh yeah, finished, done. And had I played this back when it came out, that's where I would have stopped. I wouldn't have known. Until a magazine have told me. But I was just quite happy. I was like, yeah, I've done it, cool, feel good. So
I wonder how that spread around in like schoolyards at the time. Because
the problem is in my schoolyard it wasn't FIFA or PES, so it wouldn't have really come up.
Yeah, but you can imagine like a kid like rushing around to his mates or rushing in school and going like, I found the Upside Down Castle. Because there was a story on that Kane and Rince episode where I think Andy Hamilton went to stay with his cousin on holiday, and basically they just played Symphony of the Night throughout like the entirety of this holiday. And there was a certain point where they put the CD in. They put the game disc into the stereo, and nothing happened, if I remember rightly. And then Dracula told them off, and then nothing happened again. It drifted and they looked at each other, and then the entire soundtrack started to play. I was like, oh my god, that must have been like one of those amazing moments.
That's amazing.
Really cool. It's a great episode. You should listen to that.
It's a great soundtrack. Oh, the music is astonishing.
But imagine being told off by Dracula at the start of it, then dead air, and then just sort of like soundtrack.
I love that.
That's very cool.
That's really clever.
I like that a lot.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I got to the Upside Down Castle, and kind of wouldn't say breezed it, but like I had the measure of the game at this point, so I was good. I was getting through it. Just had a hell of a time. Beat the final boss. Really happy. Got the amazing smooth jazz 90s credits. Like it's like almost with a Celine Dion type singer.
Okay.
You've got to look it up. Like they are outstanding. Like they're one of the best credits because you don't mind sitting and watching the credits because it's like, yeah, this is some nice smooth jazz. Like this is nice, yeah. And almost went straight back and started again, like immediately. I didn't quite do the full 200.6%. There are a few rooms that I couldn't be bothered with because there were just too much nonsense in them. I'm like, do you know what? I don't need to do this. I've got the weapon that I like. I managed to find the shield rod trick by accident and kind of broke. You've got a weapon called a shield rod, and if you have a shield in the other hand, you can kind of do a weird like combo move where you can put the shield up and it turns the shield into the attack. And it is, as you level it up, it is busted. To the point where you can put your shield on and just kind of stand there, and the boss then dies. Like, it's that broken. But it's fine. I tried to fight the bosses normally and kind of ended up... I kind of saved it in my arsenal for when I needed to cheese something when I couldn't quite do it and I just wanted to beat. Because there's nothing fun about redoing the boss over and over and over and over again when you can't work out what to do with him. So I only used him a couple of times. But yeah, that sword rod, the shield rod combo is dumb. And I'm really happy I found it by accident. Because I was just mashing buttons like, oh, what did that mean? What happened there? Oh, what did I do? I love it. I really love it. And I know I included it on the list before, but I didn't discount that one. Erase that from the record. This is the time. This is the time when it goes in the list because it was that great.
Because I've got the Xbox 360 version of this, which I believe they had to kind of they tweaked with. I think it's got 2 graphics settings, but something else was like amended. I think because it was in those early days of Xbox 360 having a certain limit to be on the arcade.
Yeah,
like a size limit. Although bizarrely enough, one of the first games to be on Xbox One backwards compatibility. So it's easy. In fact, it's sitting on my hard drive. So I'll have a smash into this.
It's really good. Plays like a dream, and you can like. It's one of those games. It's not hard. It's challenging, but it is like you can beat everything. You just have to take your time and look at what you're looking at and. Not just run in going, I'm going to stab it because there is a delay on the sword. You know, there is a slight delay on your attack, so you have to pay attention. And just the animation, the way he moves.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful run.
Oh, it's sensual. And the little slow motion skid as he turns around when you change direction. Oh, that's porn.
It is very good.
It's porn. That was my game from another year, or the first one anyway. What was your game from another
year? Diablo 3.
What? I wouldn't put you as a Diablo person.
No. I picked this one up, A, because it was cheap. It was Xbox One X enhanced. And at the time I was hoovering up loads of those sort of little cheapy ones for sort of the new machine. This really took me by surprise. Really wasn't sure what to expect other than Mr. Jeremy Greer and Mrs. Autumn Greer.
I was going to say,
had an amazing time with it, but it's a real belter. Very easy to relax into and like swipe away sort of bloody hours. Powers and abilities are constantly changing. There's tons of loot to twat about with. I just really enjoyed my time with it. Top-down dungeon crawler, essentially. Lots of quirks, different missions and enemies. And it also reminded me of how much I used to love Gauntlet, on Commodore 64 in the arcades back in the day. So, I was a real nerd for Gauntlet.
So I've played some Diablo. I got the PC version when it came out. I was giving it to review, and I really liked it. I gave it like a 9 out of 10. Like, I enjoyed what I played. I don't think I beat it, but I really had fun with the stuff that I did. I picked the monk and just sort of twatted around, and then I never really. I think there's a demo for the console version, isn't there? And I've never just bothered because it's the kind of game I'd want to sit there and play, probably like with Laura, but she does not like those kind of games at all. Like, doesn't like those top-down loot games at all.
It's one of those that I think it would be a different experience if you're playing it with friends. I think it may well even fall into that almost Destiny sort of thing where you can have like a little bit of a natter and do stuff
chat and splat
together and independently. But I like that when I went further into the levels, and And I was running around sort of trying to find different things, and then I find a crypt, and then I go into like the first floor, and then the second floor, and then the third floor of the crypt, and sort of getting more and more lost and stuff. And I got it at a harder difficulty than than it normally was.
You poser.
But I'd still say at the point that I'm playing it, it's not sort of super vexing me at this point, difficulty wise. But I'm enjoying sort of having like a holy shield charge and then being able to do something else.
Just going to say what character you picked, but you've always picked the paladin, is it, or crusader?
I did, yeah. I think I picked the paladin, and there are occasionally things that remind me of that game with an O that we don't mention and are both muted on Twitter. Within all regards, but those are seemingly in sort of accessories and stuff, so it's easy enough to sort off outside. But it's good, and I think we would have fun with it. I mean, obviously we've got Monster Hunter on the horizon and stuff, but it is piss cheap now, and it's nice to have, especially when. The run up to Crimble was sort of pretty daft with work, and again, it was nice to have something that didn't cost me a fortune, that I wouldn't say I could switch off from, but it entertained me within the time that I had with it. So yeah, it's great, and I think they've refined it a lot since it was originally launched, and Jezza and Autumn have recommended it. To a few people.
Jezza Greer and Mez's Greer.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't one of those that was on my horizon particularly. It was just 1x enhanced to 4K, and I was like, yeah, I'll give that a pop. And it looks lovely, absolutely crisp and beautiful. But
of course, you bought it on the 1X, so we can't play it together. You bell end.
Well, I may even get it on PS4 so we can play it together, although
wait for me to buy it first, because you know what I'm like.
What's that? Yeah.
But
we've got Monster Hunter on the horizon anyway, so that's going to sort of
with my incredible player character Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and the cat
Hunter Monster.
Of course.
You're going to be a character, be the one on the box.
Yeah, they really should be pushing that.
Maybe I should call the cat World.
Oh.
Ah! God, they're legit scares every time.
Come back! It's under the desk. What? Where are you? Come here.
You okay?
Come here. Got it. No. It's wriggled away. just trying to. Thank you, VoomphTube. VoomphTube.
Thing is, the fun you're having with it sounds like you're having a similar thing I've got with my new pet rats. Because they're like that. They just run around like, come back, you bastard.
Yeah, but I didn't buy these from Pet Shop, did I? Went on a bus to the Super Hedron Collider Superdome and snapped a bit off. That's how much I care.
Just popped a bit of that ring donut out, just a slice.
Don't get personal. Game I replayed.
Ooh, you go first.
Okay. The Division.
Oh, that's divisive.
Yeah, literally. So I came back to it about October time. I was having a break from Warframe and fancied taking a look at the changes that come around in the 1.08 update, which a fair few folks were raving about amidst all that Destiny 2 controversy. Had a great time with the original on Xbox One at launch, found the solo play really lonely and haunting. Since then, had played through a good chunk of it again on PS4 with my friend Noor, and enjoyed it even more in co-op. Back on Xbox One, and as a winter game, it was just wonderful to fall into that all over again, equalising the horrible work hours and fatigue and stress. It's a Christmas game anyway. It's sort of set with a snowy New York and sort of Christmas decorations on some of the lampposts. And
I remember. I remember.
Yeah. So, but they've refined it sort of quite a lot, and all credit to them for keeping going with that sort of stuff. There's a piece of DLC which basically, and I wonder if this was part of the original design, which perhaps got planed out, whereby you can sort of hide away in buildings, but you can go into New York and you have to get to sort of little campfires, little bonfires, otherwise you'll freeze to death. And there are people hunting you down in the snow. Like, you can have computer characters, or you can have like other players and stuff. This isn't like Dark Zone stuff. This is something else again. Not tried that yet, but it sounds really cool. But yeah, Gunplay is as good as ever, and I really love this sort of broken, barren New York. Found it devouring my time quite a bit, and I really love it. It's about £5.99 at the minute.
Oh.
And the season pass is £12. Honestly, don't pass it up, especially if you're going to play it with friends. Like, some of the missions as you go along, you get further into it, going into buildings, going into train yards, seeing, especially within the politics of America at the minute, it seems all the more resonant with the nutter that's in charge, when you see certain groups that just think that this is an excuse to like cleanse the poor. And just there's a level where you go further into a train yard, and there are a load of the homeless that are there, and it's believed that one person might have a reaction to this virus, which they can use to maybe sort of take things forward and take it beyond that. But there are another group of people that basically want to set off a bomb there because they don't want anybody getting to them. And these are people that, like rich businessmen, that have put like flamethrowers on people's backs, and they're just going burning people up, just like a level of these are the blight on our society. Those far worse off than us, and we'll just get rid of them. And yeah, £5.99 is nothing. Again, it's one of those. I know you didn't click with it when you played the beta and stuff, but I just think as a sort of shooter and going through those levels and stuff, I think we'd have fun.
I mean, it does follow the classic Paddy curve, though, doesn't it? Like, get really excited at E3 and then interest wanes almost to nothing as the game comes out. It does follow the curve.
But at a penny less than £6, it's not really that much of a risk, is it?
True. I don't know where I'd fit it into my schedule at the minute, because I'm playing quite a lot of things, but it's nice to know that, to be fair, it's going to stay that price for a while now, isn't it? So that's... nice. And it's nice to know as well that I presume E3 will give us a first look at a sequel to The Division. But what they've done is the multiplication.
They have. What they've done is, because they've kept working on it, and that this 1.08 update has been so well received, they're actually left the fan base in a really good place for a sequel. And lots of people thinking, well, they've kind of gotten on top of exactly what this is and what it can do, and they've sort of hammered it into a decent shape, and it bodes well for anything that comes thereafter. So yeah.
Cool.
Ooh.
Look at you.
What about you?
My replay. Kind of weird you've mentioned stuff going on at the minute, because the game that I replayed this year, that set with me the most. So I replayed a lot of games this year. Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty.
Really? What took you back to?
Yeah, boy.
Sons of Liberty.
Right. Well, okay. So this kind of traces back to podcasting, as is always. Everything does. I saw Jeremy, lovely Jeremy on Twitter, talking about a Metal Gear show.
Monsieur Grier.
Yeah, Monsieur again. Jeremy's all over this. He's all over this, isn't he? Talking to Cole from Bonfire Side Chat and Duckfeed about a Metal Gear show that he guested on last season. I was like, "Oh, you're going to guest on it again?" And I was like, "Oh, that seems like a cool show. I'll give that a listen." So I downloaded the first episode and I listened to it and I really liked it. And I just sent the runners of the show, Alessio, a quick tweet saying, "Oh, I like the show. Really interesting. I'm really enjoying it." I was like, "Oh, cool. Do you want to be on?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck." So in the space of an hour, discovered a show and got invited on, like the tart that I am.
You ligger.
I'd say this was good for my ego, if anything. I was like, "Yes, I'm big shot." So in the space of, I think, 2 months, I managed to burn through 45 episodes of the show. And they're not short, they're like ours. We're talking like an hour, 2 hours each. I burned through a lot of that show. It was basically everything. Like the walk to work, I listened to it every day on the half an hour to work, half an hour back, with these good Metal Gear boys in my ear. And as I was listening to the show, I was playing along with the games as well. Because I wanted to get to the point. So I was talking about Metal Gear Solid 4 was the season I was invited on. So I thought, well, I want to, get back in the Metal Gear thing and play through them all again. So, as I did. And I think Metal Gear Solid 1 was one of my game I replayed from a couple of years ago, or last year maybe, because I play that game at least once a year because it's fucking brilliant. But Metal Gear 2 this year was probably one that stood out the most because there's something about it that resonates now that didn't when I first played it and didn't 5 years ago, but does now. Metal Gear Solid 2 is so fucking out there. Like, and people say Kojima was like, by 4 and 5 he's getting really weird and out there. Metal Gear Solid 2 is really, really out there with its ideas and really oddly, prescient. A lot of the stuff in it is about information control, sort of the spread and control and censorship even of ideas, like the way memes spread. Metal Gear Solid 2 was using the word meme 15 years ago.
Really?
Memes. Not in the way we use it, that means a silly picture with a caption, but ideas that spread virally, that's a meme. A meme is a thing that spreads from person to person, but not biologically. That's what it is, and it was going on like that. And it's like we're trying to control the information. We're trying to see if we can cover something up. We're trying to see if we can change the way people view things with information control. Matt, and just playing this game, you're like, he knew. Hideo Kojima can travel through time, and he knew, and he didn't do anything about it. He tried to warn us, but. And the game, Metal Gear Solid 2 is still a fabulous game on its own right. I love Metal Gear 2. I love the bit at the beginning with Snake. I love all the bosses. I actually like Raiden. A lot of people don't like Raiden. I like Raiden, and I understand the need for Raiden. Raiden exists so you can view Solid Snake as the cool guy he is from the outside. You can see him being immensely cool from the perspective of someone else. That's why Raiden was used. So you could see how cool Snake was. And Raiden's cool in his own respect, but it's always, the plot of these games is about Snake. And the whole soldier genes thing that goes throughout the whole game. He was. And there's bits that don't work. The bit with Emma Emmerich takes far too fucking long. Some of the dialogue is a little hammy. Some of the cutscenes go on a bit long, even for Kojima. But as a whole, the game is still a blast to play. It looks incredible. You can... And this is back on the PS2, one of the first PS2 games, and you could go to a bar on a cruise ship and you could shoot the ice bucket and it would flip over and then the ices would all fall out and sit on the counter and they would melt individually. Someone programmed that.
How did you react to that when you first saw it and when you first played it?
I broke everything in that bar. I shot the TV, which broke properly. I shot it somewhere, and the plasma kind of circle out from it went and covered over the TV in a couple of seconds. I shot all the magazines off the rack. I punched all the ketchup bottles. You can shoot bags of flour, and it makes flour go everywhere. You can punch melons. Just punch the shit out of a watermelon, and it goes everywhere. It really lets you muck with the environment. There's a lot you can do, and there's a lot of thought put into it, and it still plays really good, and a lot of people don't like to because of Raiden. There's a lot of backtracking, and the big shell's not quite as interesting as Shadow Moses Island was, but I think following a game like Metal Gear 1 was always going to be difficult because it was so damn good. And it's very hard to make something as iconic as your first real iconic secret base. You try and do another secret base, and it's kind of it's all just hexagons. It's fine. But you do end up running through, near the end of the game, running through an area called Rectum. So that's in the game. At one point, Raiden's nude and doing cartwheel flips with his bollocks out. Yeah, and he catches a cold if you leave him there too long. Just so full of ideas and stuff that even now would seem a bit weird and a bit out there. But this stuff about the memes and the information control and the spread of misinformation and ideas, looking at what's going on in Western civilized culture, particularly last year, that's happening. This is happening, And I'm playing Metal Gear 2 thinking, he knew.
It adds a certain sort of twist of line to it, doesn't it? That, I mean, when I was going through The Division at first, I quite liked the intimation that was there, that it wasn't just this sort of, it was pegged as a terrorist act, but there was the underpinning that it may well be the government just trying to get rid of some people en masse, and then maybe blame terrorists, or there's a lot of speculation there, but that all just seems quite scarily resonant.
Yeah, totally. God damn it! Look at that. That's weirdly synced up well, isn't it?
I know.
That's pretty good. It's like we planned this.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Is that a ridiculous thought?
A terrible thought. Bad idea.
I can only apologise.
In fact, that was so terrible thought. I think we should take another advert break.
We will do an advert break after the next one, because then I think it's the last. It's the last thing after the next.
Is it quick? All right, we'll do that one then.
Yeah, and then
I'm just worried about my computer dying. Just that's all.
I think we can get this next one out of the way.
All right. Do we just say the name and close? There we go.
Yeah, Jabba.
Go on, hit the button.
Hold on.
What mechanism are you interacting with? Ooh. Did it take off?
It's hovering.
Silently.
I don't know if I can grab it.
It's got sensors.
It has. I don't know how I'm quite going to get my... Hold on, I'll try... Oh, shit. I got it. Just need to get the thromble rod into the Magoogle. Got it.
Get it.
Right, I knew what the category was going to be anyway, because it's the last one.
It's the last one.
Well, Foley. Biggest surprise.
I'll go first this time. For me, this year, best gaming surprise happened right near the end of the year. And my best surprise is just how much fun the Monster Hunter World Beta was. Because Happiness center of me. I know we mentioned it earlier. I did not expect this to be good. I have never been a Monster Hunter fan. Again, we talked about this on the Huge Monster Teeth. Oh, we're out of practice. We can do better. I'm glad you saw where I went there. Thank you for that. Yeah, I've never been into it.
Glad you saw us.
Oh, no. Shush, my turn to talk now. So I don't really like I never liked Monster Hunter. I kind of tried it and I didn't really get it. And it kind of was big on the PSP and I kind of wanted to try it. And I tried a couple of times and couldn't do it. And then it kind of shot off to the Nintendo consoles, which I didn't really have. So it became a non-entity for me. Like, it was a thing. And I know you loved it. You played the 3... Ultimate, that was the one on the Wii U. I know you loved that with its weird duck hat and all. And I enjoyed it from a side, but I thought it still doesn't quite look like my sort of thing.
I've forgotten about the duck hat. And the point where you went rolling and he's like... Oh god, I'd forgotten about the duck hat. That was amazing.
You showed that off to me so proudly.
That duck hat was amazing.
You sent me a picture on DM on Twitter, like, look at this hat.
It's just... Yeah, I love that duck hat.
Duck hat. But I went in with relatively low expectations. I knew it was a free beta because we're all in, and I did what I always do, which is I played something because you told me to. I
was kind of twisting your arm a little bit, and I was just wondering, with it being more refined and with the sort of legacy from the internet being that a lot of folks who didn't like Monster Hunter were the most vocal folks talking about it, and yet the people who were the experts about Monster Hunter were equally as vocal. So it seemingly sort of hit this sort of point that games rarely do, where your fan base is rabid. Plus, it seems to be bringing in new people. So yeah, I didn't know how you'd react. I was happy that you kind of gone, yeah, I'll give that a go. But your reaction to it was just joyous.
Because we played our first hour or two together, didn't we? Like we jumped on and did the whole setup and make your character thing. And again, we covered this on the show, but I remember you were saying, which one have you picked? I'm like, if you can't work out which one I've picked, we ain't friends.
Yeah, to me, you've always been a ginger black girl.
Yeah, but, and do you know what? Right,
I love you.
Normally, when I get these games, I tend to make a pretty similar facsimile of myself, like ginger, biggish nose, red hair, beard if I can do it, and done. I love my beta character. I love my ginger black girl. I think I make something, not her particularly, but I think I'll give her a twist. But like combined with the style that I chose for her, with the resplendent cape and crown and big heavy trousers, like, God, that's like a look, and I like that look, and I think that's my look.
You're going to be balancing sort of the look of your fashion depending on the kind of monsters that you're fighting, because the monsters, when you kill them, you'll get, say if a monster's is poisonous, the armor that you craft from that will have high poison resistance, but the weapons that you forge will have poison as part of them. So if you're going into battle against a creature that's like that, you may well want to wear the armor that will insulate you the best.
See, you're talking, but all I'm hearing is nah, because it doesn't involve me looking as fucking sexy as possible.
Now you see, one of the things that I was grounded in within Monster Hunter early on, and this was from Sean Bell. It was just like, never mix up your sets, and you're gonna just be this sort of smish of bits of just whatever looks best.
Resplendent.
I know what you're like with a character creator anyway.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
It's going to be awful, and I'm
like,
going to name it.
Why am I dying to this monster, and why are you surviving? And I'll be like, never mix your sets. I've even thought of that when I've seen, when if somebody's like wearing an Adidas tracksuit and Fila trainers, I'll be like, just hear Sean Bell in the back of my head, just going like, don't mix your sets.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It will take a lot of convincing to make me do that. If I have to power level to make better armor that's still disgusting, rather than pick out armor that's just appropriate, I'll do it. You've seen me in every Souls game I've played. You've seen me in any game with fashion. I pick the one that looks the coolest. Like Destiny, the first one, where I found that leather jacket thing. Like, scarf, cape and leather jacket. Like, of course I'm wearing that. It doesn't give me a good as bonus as the cool raid set, but it's not. It's a leather jacket.
You see, the nice thing about getting into that beta was when we were trying out the weapons, there was almost this near instantaneous version of you that was just like, oh, I can do this and I can do this. Oh, I'll try this one now. Oh yeah, I can do this. Oh, look at this, and then, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. And then into the level, you were just like tearing off ahead. It was like my son has gone to the mountain.
Yeah, I saw a world that I wanted to run into the middle of and hit things with my hammer.
But there was a
did I hit things with my hammer.
You did. You really clicked with the hammer.
Love that hammer. I didn't even find the good move until like 3 hours later.
But the game was pretty as anything. It kind of led you to want to discover more about the world. It made you laugh at it with things like, the cat blowing the horn on top of the mountain, or the cat with the pram that looked like a cat, the cat in the dinghy.
The moment I told you, turn around. Why? Look at your Panico. Why? It's in a boat. Ah!
Those aren't the lyrics from Total Eclipse of the Heart, but I wish they were. And that the bit where you got that sort of eel creature that just tried to strangle the Baron.
Oh, the giant eelfish that appeared out of nowhere. And then we fought him later, and we were in the middle of the desert, and the eelfish appeared. Like, why are you here now?
It's just this
is not an aquatic environment. Why are you here, fish?
Like, Monster Hunter traditionally demos itself really badly, but there was a feeling within this beta that this was a world that exists whether you're there or not, and creatures will fight. You saw the is it the Jagras at the start, where he just just hoovers up one of the other creatures, and he's taking it back to its nest, and it's, I don't know, it's a fascination. But then you see the super experts like your Arix and your Soxy and stuff, like just doing like flips off trees and landing
Spider-Man
and stuff.
bullshit is what they were doing.
Spider-Man bullshit indeed, but it's Spider-Man bullshit that I want to master.
Yeah. My favourite run from the whole beta was I remember trying to take on the Anjanath by myself. In the first level, I didn't realise there was an actual mission that was him. I just saw a T-Rex and thought, I'm having him. And I've tried a few times, it didn't work. But the one I remember was, we got into a fight quite early. I found him off the bat. I was like, fucking brilliant, there he is. I started smashing him in the face, and I was getting the hang of jumping on his back. Then the Jagras got involved as well, and that got a bit silly. Then he ate the Jagras, which was quite terrifying, or killed it. Like, he bit it and threw it around. He ran up the tree, and I was chasing him up the tree, and I'm going to get this piece of shit dinosaur. And then a dragon appears. Like,
oh yeah, it was the Rathalos, I think, wasn't it?
And he grabbed him, and he picked him up, and he picked up my T-Rex I was trying to fight, and he lobbed him, and the T-Rex fell off the tree, and I thought, I could face a T-Rex, or I could have a go at the dragon. Go on then, big boy. And that was when I knew I fucked up. Because I didn't do very well against the Rathalos by myself. But then again, I'm not really supposed to, being the first, 3 hours in. I'll have a go at a Rathalos, I can probably do this.
But there is that sense of expecting the unexpected. And I think the world showed itself off as it's a game that is very much like anything else that's out there, and it's going to sit within your gaming palette really nicely. But because so many new folks are coming onto it, and you're going to get your experts in there as well, because the PS4 servers are opening up to the rest of the world, so we're going to get Japan on there.
Oh shit!
As well. So it's just going to be a joyous experience, and I can't often gaming is at its best when you're into something. You're in the eye of the storm, and just everybody's dipping in. I mean, it's we've had a really great experience with Warframe with people going through it at the same time as us, uncovering the secrets, that sort of stuff. I just think that this is going to be amplified tenfold, and it's just going to be so much fun. Plus, one of the big things for me with 3 Ultimate was I could come back home from the day of work and just relax into some online stuff, even fighting with randos, and go into levels that I might not normally do, or might not normally be strong enough to do on my own, and come back with gear which would advance me further. And it's a great game to relax into. It's a great game to be chatty with friends. I think this is going to be massive. I think it's going to be humongous.
It is. I mean, for me, who didn't care enough to be very dismissive of Monster Hunter, I think I've been quite dismissive of it. To turn me around on it this goddamn quick.
Are you super
within
excited?
3 minutes of turning on that game, I was like, yep, I like it, yep.
You were running off the head. You were. I mean, I kind of was, dawdling a little bit and taking in the world. You were like the little toddler at the theme park. You were just oh, look at that, and I was thinking, this is great, because you got used to the combat so quickly, and with the experimenting with the things you could do, and really reveling in, look, I can smash this thing in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I did pick probably a really simple weapon to start with, but that helped definitely, because it's a very, very simple move set, but it's about how you use those moves. It's not about having 18 different combos. It's about having 3 or 4 good moves that you need to work out where to use. There we go, look, I've already worked my guy out.
You see, this is what I like, that you've got an opinion on this sort of stuff straight away that makes you sound like an enthusiast or an expert about it. It's just really exciting to see, and you're super excited for it.
Yeah,
I take it.
I'm in.
We're only it's 2 weeks on Friday, isn't it?
I'm in.
Have you got your order in? Or are you going dig?
Hang on. Yes. I'm gonna get it on Amazon. I like discs.
I was going to say it's weird with the launch, because the regular. The game on its own is £42. Amazon are charging £23 extra for a steelbook, which is really weird. And then the collector's edition, which has got a wee statue in there, a 30-page art book, and a CD, is £135.
Nah. No, mate.
So it's a strange one, but I think that people are going to double get into this. And it's interesting the amount of folks that actually sort of went into the first beta and just played a bit of it and just went, yeah, I'm good for this, ordered.
Jeremy did that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Mentioned 17 of Jeremy.
I think there's folks as well like Sean O'Brien who kind of didn't quite click with the beta, but who was going sort of, there's got to be more to this. I think I'm going to order it anyway. So yeah, it's going to be interesting because like, everybody I know is getting it as well, which is super cool. It's not just going to be, a select handful of folks.
Yes. My gaming surprise was how much fun I had with Monster Hunter Wild.
It was biggest surprise, not necessarily biggest gaming surprise.
Okay, well, I got scared at work. So I was behind the door. Fine, then. It was a big surprise.
We'll stick with one.
I dropped my tea on the floor. I told her, this girl Sophie at work, I said, don't scare me. I've got tea in my hand. Please don't scare me. I know you're going to scare me, but don't scare me. She did it anyway, and I spilled my tea everywhere.
TMI.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise, I'm going Telly on this one as well.
Oh.
Is a Korean TV show called Go Back Couple.
I know about this. I've not seen it, but I know about this. Please tell us about this. Words go now.
So it's a Korean drama. It was 12 episodes long. The nice thing about going into stuff with no degree of hype is oftentimes you'll read a premise and you go, sounds pretty good. I'll give that a bash. And it's about a couple that are approaching the 40s who met in their 20s. They married young, they had a child, and their worlds, both individually and together, are falling apart. She stays at home, looks after the child, and has lost sight of herself for various reasons. He works all hours for a swine of a boss who went to the same university as him, but he doesn't remember him from back in those days. One day, an incident happens where he threatens to divorce her. She's so shocked as to prompt this, and their marriage ends. Both throw away their wedding rings at the same time, and swirling landing chimes create echoes in the time stream. When they wake up the following day, it's 1990. Both are in their 20s, back at home with their parents, and ready for a day at college, where they intend to never know one another and do things differently. It's exceptional. The premise is very much like an old 80s movie. The entire show is so well written. The two leads in particular are fantastic, essentially playing three versions of themselves: 20-year-old, 38 years old, and a 38-year-old in a 20-year-old body.
Right.
With further glimpses kind of giving us chance moments of them in the years between as well. There are laughs aplenty, absolutely, but moments where I properly sobbed. One in particular in the first episode where the moment was played for laughs, but we were so invested in an aspect from 2017 that it was hard not to emotionally veer towards one side of what was going on. And it absolutely broke my heart, because you realise that in the modern day, one of the aspects that's kind of she's not moved on beyond, and that it's affected a portion of their marriage, is the death of her mum, and that she absolutely doted on her mum, and obviously she lost her mum, and she feels sort of lost within that. When she wakes up in 1990 and her mum comes into the room and basically tells her to go to college, the first thing that she does is she pounces on her mum, and just can't stop hugging her. And her mum's pushing her away, what's wrong with you? Come on, you're being silly. Why are you doing this? Running ahead in the room and going, you're really freaking me out now. Why are you doing this? And all she wants to do is just hold her mum. And like I say, the scene is absolutely played for laughs from us standing back from it, and from the way that the mum's reacting, but knowing what we know at that point about her connection to her mum, which deepens as the series goes on. It's hard not to be emotionally invested in her side of things. 3 episodes in, and it was just an absolute joy, and it was consuming me. I was invested in the characters individually, but it's fascinating to watch their journeys as they explore the individual what-ifs and see the other partner do likewise. And then it starts doing some really clever stuff, not only giving us those times in between both the good and bad which lead up to the breakup, but big surprising character moments amidst that. And all of these have resonance as foreshadowing towards the conclusion. It asks the not Twilight question of, well, yes, you're back in your 20-year-old body, but you have the mind of a 38-year-old. Is it okay to be hitting on someone that's 20? At one point, it turns into a heist movie as the wife uses the things she's used from TV dramas to take down a multiple cheater, who's also her husband's old boss.
Right.
Like in the modern day. And she wants to expose him to the hospital staffs that's there, or the people that he's training with, all of the girls he's been treating on the side, and she just draws up this massive whiteboard of like things that she's learned from like afternoon TV soaps as to how to sort of trap him and stuff. And that was a real left of centre. As stuff like how do you affect friends who fall in love at that age, but one of them ends up breaking down years later with unhappiness? Do you try to stop people? Or find out what happens to people that have disappeared? It's all natural and very, very cool, as funny as it is dramatic. It sets up an ending point where there's this big revelation which comes as a huge shock, and in response to this massive moment in episode 11 which left me gasping for air, I was so upset. And while episode 12 didn't do quite what I thought it was going to after this point, in its finale, Go Back Couple never forgot that it was a fairy tale, and I love that about it. It's quite a hard show to shake off. I'm still thinking about it and haven't quite moved on to a new drama series after this. So yeah, it's really great and a huge surprise. And as I understand it, in Korea, it wasn't one of the series that was pegged to be a particularly big series, but it ended up being the biggest series of the season. Like, people just glued onto it hugely, and they've got like a strange way of airing it over there as well, whereby rather than it airing like in a Netflix way and like a super binge or one episode a week, they had episodes on Friday and Saturdays every week.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool. So you've got like this little pocket of bounce and momentum between the two episodes, but Go Back Couple was wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
I've heard of it. Like, I know it's been mentioned a lot on the internet sites that I've seen, and yeah, it looks proper. Yeah,
it was great, and obviously there's a lot of, they've got a cast that can do 38 and they can do 20, so there is a degree of makeup involved when they're back in their 20s and stuff, but it's not to an astounding degree. A lot of it is just, you see him wearing like baggier clothes and stuff. And I don't know, it was very smartly written. It could well have played into almost like a Parent Trap type of Disney sort of thing. But it did and it didn't, and it was just superbly done. Took me way by surprise, and I loved it to pieces.
Nice. Good surprise.
Right, so we'll take another break. We'll play some music, and we'll come back with our top 3 of 2017 in games.
Play the music.
We're back for our top 3 favourite games of 2017.
Yeah. What did you enjoy the break?
I did. I got a cherry pop.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I ate some grapes.
That's good. Fruit, man.
I'm just luxurious and decadent now.
Feed
me grapes.
These are the cherries on our gaming of 2017.
The sprinkles.
Like, I got some grapes.
Nothing wrong with fruit.
So yeah, these might not be your favourite games. They might be like, oh, how could you choose that one when this one came out? Oh my god. These are just the games that we played and liked the best.
Yeah, it's our list.
Yeah. So get that. We've got a bit
if you
of
want
the
to
Headline
know
Super Collider that we can set on you.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, so no.
If you want to listen to the same 5 games, just listen to every other website.
Don't slag off the internet.
They go and get some.
All right. Patrick Stardust Towers, Stardust Land, Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Right. So, what have you got as your number 3 favourite game of 2017?
Number 3. Okay. So number 3. So this year is the year of loads of really, really good games that came out that I didn't play. 2017 was a great year for games.
Huge year for games.
Really good for games, and I barely played a single freaking one of them.
Do you have any regrets before we carry on? Because I didn't get to play and actually own Nier Automata and Yakuza 0, and it's just there are a lot of things where I've gone, yeah, I'd really like to play that. I played a bit of Persona 5, but not really enough, and I know that's really good. And is there anything
I've done that. I agree. Yeah, no, I've like Persona 5 always looked like that sort of thing I should enjoy, but I didn't like Persona 4. I can't be bothered with school. I did that. I did school. Don't want to do school again. I bounced off of Horizon Zero Dawn. I expected to love that, and it seemed like a paddy game, and it just isn't. Just all the Switch stuff, because I don't have one, all look really good. It
looks like the natural continuation of the Vita.
And I love my Vita. I'm kind of sad that my Vita's kind of dead now. I know there's still stuff coming out, but not as frequently, and it's a shame because I still love that machine. I still play it almost daily.
You know what I mean? It's got that sort of even aside from like Nintendo's sort of classic franchises, it's really hitting that market of this is like the indie machine.
Yeah, definitely.
In the same way as the Vita was.
Yeah. So. But even like, in the Dark Souls route, you've got like your Cupheads, because I haven't got an Xbox One and didn't buy it on the PC. You've got things like, what was that one called? The robot one. Robot Dark Souls. Surge? Was it? Obviously Neo like Neo that I played and didn't gel with. This great year for games, and I just didn't play any of them. So I'm just gonna say it now. My games of the year, there's gonna be some that weren't out this year. And
you broke the podcast last year, though,
you're just going to have to accept that, because if I included games that came out this year, this list would be crap. It would be games that I played 3 hours of, because I just not what I've interacted with this year. I've been playing a lot of retro games this year. I've got a Raspberry Pi and love that thing. I want to play more of that. In fact, that was nearly my games I wish I'd played more, was nearly my Raspberry Pi, because I'm really enjoying it, but haven't given it enough time yet. So yeah, that's pretty my only regrets, really, is not playing many of the games that came out. But the stuff I have played, I've really liked. So, yeah. So I'm going to go to number 3 then. So my third favourite game of this year was a game that you were responsible for. Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Yes!
Way!
I bought you this as a prezi, and I bought you the Old Blood as a prezi, and I thought you'd enjoy them. And as a little tip of the hat, listeners, I bought him Titanfall 2 as a prezi.
You did?
As a New Year prezi. So hopefully, I still think that will push similar buttons in, like a great single player game and a cool story that you like.
Yeah. And you wrote a nice note with a picture of you with your beard on it. Looks great.
But I thought that you click with this. Like, I thought there were a few sort of Metal Gearisms within the stealth that I thought you'd click with. I think it's an amazing single player story anyway.
Well, I mean, I did pick up a PS3 copy, and you said no, fuck you, and sent me the better version.
Yeah, I did.
Basically,
I was trying to track them down for like sort of the best price possible, and then you were like, I picked this up. Seriously, in the bin with you, sir.
I had about I think I had £4 of CEX credit. I was like, oh yeah, that'll do.
But it looks nice on the new generations of consoles.
Really nice.
Yeah,
I think I got onto it via Doom, because I really enjoyed Doom. Like I didn't finish it. I got halfway through Doom. I only got halfway through it in the end because it's quite intense. I've got to be in the mood for it, and it's very rare I'm in the mood to be like visually assaulted. By Doom. And I don't get me wrong, I loved it. I thought, I've given other few shooters a go, like ones that kind of a bit more out there. Because I don't like a lot of standard, like, Super War Gun Fighter, Battle Duty Man. Like, I don't enjoy that kind of game a lot.
Industry Legends.
Yeah, but like the multiplayer focused ones with a single player campaign sort of chucked on the outside. Like, I like my things to be, like, story focused from the go. And Wolfenstein seemed to be that. It had a really strong, I think it was just only a campaign, wasn't it? Like a really, really good, strong campaign. with a really just good story, good characters. I think B.J. Blazkowicz himself, what a man! Like, women want to be with him, men want to be him.
But that could have come across as such a cliche, and yet instantly he gets you on side with just his humanity and the fact that he's this war machine, and yet there's this wonderful sense to him that he's so softly spoken, but don't fucking push him. He's a very watchable character, and the cutscenes are just incredible.
He's rough and tough, but he's tender and he's funny and he's smart. He's not just a meathead. Even though some of the other characters kind of think he is, he's not just a meathead. And even the other characters you interact with, you've got Fergus, the gruff Scottish pilot, or who's the other guy called? Is it Wilson?
Oh God. I'm just thinking of the Fergus moment where you have to make a decision early on. And
there's an early decision that very bravely changes the way the game plays completely. If you choose Fergus, you pick up armour upgrades, I think, or health improvements, whereas if you pick up the other one, you get armour improvements. One or the other, I can't remember which one was which now. But it really changes the way you play the game, like, it really, really does. I kept Fergus alive.
So did I. No, did I?
I kept the old guy alive, the vet.
I can't think.
I think you told me you kept the other guy alive, whose name is completely escaping me now, and it's driving me crazy. The young lad, Corporal Wilson or something, or he's like a just a squaddy, just a young squaddy. But yeah, I chose Ferguson. Working through this first few levels, like learning the controls and understanding how it plays, and thinking, this is just a World War II game at the start, and having it then warp ahead like 20 years almost, like really jump forward, and that whole scene where time progresses, where Blazkowicz is in the hospital. What a scene! What a scene! Like, you give a shit. Like, it mean, like, right, this is more than just a shooter. Like, this has got stuff going on here.
The point where he picks up the knife, I challenge anybody with a human heart in their chest to not, like, bunch up a fist at that point and just think, I'm going to fuck everybody up.
Yeah. Every Nazi gone die, because they make you watch, like, them killing everyone first. Like, alright, I've got my motivation.
Yeah, these are people sort of suffering with mental problems and stuff, and they're being experimented on by the Nazis, regularly being taken away. And God,
and my first read of that, like, I don't know if this is the correct read or not, but my first read of that was like him watching this happen, like, was what snaps him out of it. Like, BJ's back.
It's the will to push past the way that he's been affected. You can that's the surge within him that it comes back. There are even like bits where you realise that the old family that are sympathetic towards him, that the old man for like years was just murdering Nazis with, and like there's that piece of newspaper that's pinned to the corkboard downstairs where he basically tortures that Nazi with the chainsaw.
I really enjoyed that whole part of the scene as well, just casually, calmly walking around the basement thinking, oh, look at like, and it's the last thing I looked at as well. So I go downstairs and there's a Nazi screaming at me, just casually, not talking, just looking around, look around the basement. I turn around and the last thing I see is a chainsaw on the desk, like, hello? Ooh, hello, friend. And you walk up and go, I need to get some coveralls on first. So you have to go and calmly, go find an apron and some goggles just to make sure everything's fine. Just very, very calmly. And just the patience he takes doing it. Like, yeah, this is fun. Like, if this is a cutscene, he'd have stomped in, grabbed it and done it. Whereas this is I'm in charge. The
pacing was very well done. And there was a wonderful spectrum of colour to Blazkowicz as a character as well. And I think that rather than him just being like, sort of steel-chinned and I'm going to take on the Nazi. Even that, that opening sequence in the plane is so well done.
Oh God, yeah.
The plane's fantastic. I used to like make little models of like airfix kits of stuff when I was a kid, but it felt like I was genuinely walking around a plane, and yet there was this huge degree of like mad robot dogs and jumping from plane to plane and stuff, and yet it still felt kind of resonant. It's, you know what I mean? It still felt like Nazis are arseholes. I hate Nazis.
Yeah.
And yet they would, like, you've got this world with the robot dogs and I don't know.
Yeah.
It played its. It had lightning in the bottle, essentially, didn't it?
It played its cards well. It had its cards and it played them. And to be fair, with all the this could be on here just for the strength of its story stuff and its emotional beats and the characters alone. But the actual game is just legit again fun to play. It's fun to dash around and nip behind cover, pop out and shoot a Nazi's grenade back out of the air at him and just sneak up and just stab a guy. The stealth in it is amazing. I didn't expect the stealth in this game to actually work as well as it does. Who'd have thought a game about shooting a bunch of Nazis and robot dogs would also involve quite a lot of stealth?
There was a point when I think I was sneaking around the German camp, not far from the start of the game. It's after the time jump where the old couple kind of park their truck up and you sort of sneak beyond from there. There were points where I was wandering around that camp, and this is ages ago, and I just thought, I think Paddy will dig the fuck out of this. just from a Metal Gear point of view, I just thought that you might enjoy yourself quite a bit.
And the first person stealth is good. A lot of first person stealth generally tends to fail. There's not a lot of games that have done it well. Dishonored, I think, was one of the only ones that's managed it properly.
Also Bethesda.
Oh, I know, right? There's a little list. There's a link here. But yeah, the stealth it feels nice. When you get seen, you got seen. It was your own fault. You weren't paying attention. You got seen. I very rarely, if ever, fucked up a stealth bit. I'm that wasn't my fault. You can tell where the enemies are. You can take your time and process it. But
there's also a rush if you do fuck things up. Right then, all of you come at me. I'll take you all on. You're all gone.
And you can. Dual-wielding machine guns like a piece of shit. Like a piece of shit.
I can imagine you roaring when that was happening.
Yeah, get some, ha 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 ha, cackling at them just falling. Especially when you've got a nice corridor to do and lots of ammo. Right, which of you pricks want to go? Come on then, let's have some. Come on then, you pieces of shit. I even went around and I found all the collectibles in it. I think I didn't platinum it.
I remember.
That would have involved a run through on the super hard difficulty. I didn't really feel like it, but I did do both runs, get all the collectibles, and just had the best time with it. I just had such fun, and I didn't expect it to be that good because I don't generally get on that well with most first-person shooters, and that comes. Saying that, Destiny is probably my most played game on the PS4, but that's that's a weird one. Again, it's a weird first-person shooter. This is a weird first-person shooter with a proper campaign that really forced me through. And I enjoyed the Old Blood as well. The Old Blood was really fun. It obviously was a smaller game. There wasn't as much to it, but it had new ideas. It had robot enemies you had to kind of power off in other places and run around behind them when they were broken and jab a pipe in the back of them. Lots of good pipe killing in that one. Lots of times when you jam a pipe up someone, really satisfying crunches. And I haven't bought New Colossus yet, and I will because it does look like more of the same, but not in a good way. It looks like they've taken what's worked and just built on it and made it that extra bit.
The story is fantastic in New Colossus. Even people that maybe haven't clicked with the shooting have said it's worth it to see the story stuff. And let's face it, those trailers at E3 were amazing. From the Lightning Man ones to the Little House on the Prairie with the robot dog to the game ones, which were just again were really really funny and touching and just full of bravado and
and I would say it still feels fun in that game to really just kill some really evil Nazis. There's no redeeming factors to any of them.
They properly leaned into the punch a Nazi in the face promotion, didn't they? And I love that about them.
Yeah. Or there's a part in the game in the New Order, where you're in a prison camp and you reprogram one of the prison robots to kind of fuck up all the guards, and you grab Frau Engel, I think her name is, grab her by the face and just lob her one. And it's yes, she's fucked. And then 5 minutes later, when you're kind of getting the van, you're getting the car to escape and you're driving away, and you look around and you see her stood there, blood pouring from her face, with 2 fuck-off great machine guns just screaming and shooting, and you're like, you're still a Nazi, but fair play. Go on then. And
you enjoyed it that much.
Built her up to be this proper force of nature, you know what? fair play. You can have that one. That was good. But yeah, I loved that. I know it didn't come out this year, but frankly, that's not how I played this year, and it's our list. Go cry about it.
Well, like I say, I'm kind of going off instinct and stuff with regards to presents. It can be a little bit difficult. So I'm really made you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, son. Thanks.
It's okay.
Thanks, mate. Hopefully, Titanfall does the same thing.
Yeah, I've got a good feeling about that. I think you bond with that quite well. Plus, it does the thing whereby it doesn't outstay its welcome. I think it's a decent sized campaign without being overly long, but the way that it switches it up from level to level to level is just astonishing at times.
Fantastic.
I wondered like 3 levels in, I think it was like the factory level. I wondered how they designed it because it just seemed immense.
I've heard about it. I've heard enough that I don't want to hear anymore. Like cool. I've heard, yeah.
Well, like I said, I rented Titanfall 2 initially. And got to a certain point and enjoyed it, but didn't get it after that. But I picked it up again at the same time as I got you that Prezi, so we're going to go through it together.
Brill. So that was my number 3 game of the year. What weird piece of shit that nobody else has played, but we all play in the next month because you told us to and all like it, have you picked for your number 3?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Okay. Explain yourself. I'm not being mean.
I know. I took sideswipes across the industry, became the brunt of a zillion memes, released undoubtedly broken. So why number 3 in my favourite games of the year?
Now, to cut you off, as an outsider who doesn't play Mass Effect, all that meme stuff was quite funny.
Yeah, it was quite bizarre, and there's when they revealed the stuff that was going on behind the scenes that led up to it, like sincerely a tumultuous development process, released in a state that it really shouldn't have been. Like there were tales behind the scenes of them prepping on a different engine, and then EA forcing Frostbite on them, and the game being, I think the game was rebooted at a certain point and going through multiple directors before all this stuff sort of came out. I had no stake in the game. I'd tried to play the previous Mass Effect games a number of times and really hadn't clicked with them at all. I watched the Game Informer podcast where they were discussing the new game at length and brought in sort of fan opinions across the board. What I hadn't heard amongst those knee-jerking and mocking was the views of the people that had enjoyed the game. And doing so made me want my own opinion. Those folks had mentioned that whereas Shepard was this complete hero ready to step up, the Ryder twins were thrown into a situation which was beyond them, and that seemed more enticing, more approachable and appealing. The UK store game had an offer whereby if you traded in a couple of Xbox One and PS4 titles, they gave you an extra £5 towards a new title, and that was for each of, for 2 games, trade those, get £5, 2 games, get. So I realised that. If I grabbed a few bits that I wasn't playing, I figured I'd get Andromeda. I could more or less get my money back if it was arse, and besides it came with this free die-cast sort of toy as well. So I was like, yay, toy.
Toy.
So at this point, a degree of the earlier jank had been fixed, I think, and I just lost myself in this brilliant tale. Pretty much a frontier western in sci-fi pyjamas. I love the stories that went along. The environments were absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and I was really invested in it. Yeah, there was the odd bit of facial wonk, but I got used to that. Trade that against the memorable story stuff, the bigger moments as well as the quieter sides. I just built momentum with it. And as the game comes to the close, the next to last level is fantastic. The final level itself is all manner of jaw-dropping. Visually, it's a feast, but when you come to realise that everything that you've done, all the impact that you've made, it matters. All these people are here for you in the final battle. The elements of distrust and weariness that you tried to overcome in the face of a race that got there before you, took the trust that they were given and decimated it. All of the courage and warmth I'd done my best to show, all of these people believed and were fighting for me and alongside me. proper fought through this final level with like tears streaming down my face, like screaming at the telly, raising a fist. The music absolutely soared. The soundtrack's fantastic. I was shivering like a daft lad. Massive ending. Films don't end this well. And it took me a few months to get through it. I know, again, like you see people like, oh, I finished Mass Effect Andromeda like after a few weeks, but I'm sure I was on it like about maybe 2 or 3 months at least.
You don't play quick anyway, do you, though? Let's be fair.
I don't, but
you got to marinate.
I was finding, really interesting stuff on computer terminals, and there was a lot of little asides that I really enjoyed. And it all built up a degree of it. Plus, it's nice to get a game where, again, you can just fall into it after work. And this was probably the first chatty game that I'd played in a while, where I wasn't zoning out a little bit, where I was really invested in the dialogue and the momentum of the story. And I don't know, it wasn't one of those where it's like, people are talking, can I press a button? People are still talking, I don't care what they're saying, people are still talking. I was really into it. And regarding the issues, I think we're in an age where we're all jostling with resolutions and frame rates and all that stuff. Even sort of in Western cinematic terms, people are demanding more and more realistic CG in films, and that's fine, but we've lost the ability to push past things and lose ourselves to imagination. Playing like, Red Faction or Deus Ex back in the day, there were the blocky square faces and stuff, but the stories, the way that our imagination kind of smoothed and buttered over those, let us forget ourselves, lose ourselves, and I think that's been lost somewhat. Andromeda is a fantastic game. The team isn't going to get beyond EA enforced decisions and make a sequel. There was room for DLC, clearly, with sort of a lost ark that had launched from Earth that didn't make it to sort of the new world. And I think that's a travesty given how much I enjoyed the game. If you're on Xbox One, the game is on EA Access now. If you're on anything else, the game's stupidly cheap. Push past the occasional wobble, lose yourself to the brilliant story, these incredible worlds, and they are so pretty. And maybe you'll find yourself where I did. I loved it, but what I'd say is seek your own opinion, come to it on your own terms, and just see what you think. Gunplay's awesome as well.
I've got quite a pressing question.
Did
you sex an alien?
I did.
Which one?
PB.
Who's that?
She's this feisty, kind of sparky alien. Like, she's got blue skin or purple skin.
The blue ones? With the head tentacles.
It's been... Hold on. Foley.
It's almost like she's really typing.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah, she's kind of... She wears like a purple sort of outfit, and she's blue and sort of has octopus-like hair.
Oh, I know the ones. Yeah,
yeah, and she was really feisty and really sparky and really funny, and it kind of was a veil over, I don't know, something kind of a little bit deeper that she was kind of. She got an issue to hide behind, I guess, that sort of facade. Sex scene was fantastic when it happened. Don't mean like for uber boner, as in like that was really well done. And I loved it.
Sorry. Just the idea of sitting there going, "Whoa!"
No, it wasn't a case of that. It was one of those where we just went kind of. I was going to go fuck, but yeah, the sex scene was great when
fuck, respectful boner.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just superbly done, and it fitted really well within the story. And there was even a point where I was pursuing sort of this flirtation, and I think PB and I were kind of boinking before it became anything else. And I was back on one of the space stations, and this woman doing a documentary asked if I was flirting with her, and I literally like reeled on the couch and sort of put the control down. No, and just I was so shocked that might even though you got the option to kind of screw around as you will, but I thought PB was great. Voice actress was fantastic. and girl won my heart. She was fab.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but like I say, the shooting is proper superb as well in it. Shooting's really good fun, and whilst they didn't really explore the different characters massively beyond just being like tanky shooty man, I enjoyed sort of this almost Bloodborne-esque sort of push jump that you could do, like a sort of super skip forward that you could do and to the sides, and I enjoyed it a lot. And what I'd say is to anybody, just read between the lines, and if you want your own opinion on something, go in and figure out where you stand. Never mind what the hive mind thinks.
CJ, everybody, contrary piece of shit.
That's me.
Excellent choosing. I didn't think that would be on your list. I wasn't sure, but there you go.
In previous nerd podcasts we've done, I've knobbed on about that sort of quite.
You have knobbed on, but I wasn't sure if it would make your list or not. So cool.
Loved it. Figure it out for yourselves, folks. It's super cheap. So no.
Yeah, there's a joke there somewhere.
Number 2 then, my good man.
Shall I keep going first?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll keep the flow. Number 2 didn't come out this year. Didn't come out last year.
That's fine.
Didn't come out the year before that either. Didn't come out the year before that. It's quite old.
Okay.
But it's kind of relevant because something about it has come out this year. So I'm kind of technically almost there.
I believe in you.
Yakuza on the PS2. Because
see, I'm into this.
Kiwami just came out and Zero came out, and I was kind of like, you kind of see all the press coming out about the game. You look at it, you think that looks like my shit. Like that looks like the kind of thing I'd enjoy. And I'd actually picked up the original one for £1 in a charity shop a while ago because I saw it. I was like, yeah, I'll grab that. I think I got that, and a couple of the Onimusha games were all there. Like, yeah, I'll grab them.
Oh yeah, cool.
Weird. Yeah, for £1. Go on, then, I'll give that a go. Oh, excuse me, that was a little burp. So I was like spurred on, I guess, by Zero and Kiwami coming out and doing so well. I was like, I'm gonna give this a go because the only one I played before was the zombie one, which is kind of considered not a proper one anyway. A bit more focused on gunplay, which isn't really there in the main ones. It was more about dumb weird gunplay. All the weird Yakuza stuff was all still there, but it wasn't really a proper one. It was more like a side story. But anyway, I thought I'd put this on, and I thought, do I get Kiwami or Zero, or do I start from the start? And the kind of guy I am, I like to start from the beginning of a franchise, and like not the remaster. I like to play the original.
Okay.
I like to see because like going back sometimes can be tricky. Because say I really liked Kiwami, the remake of 1. I thought, I want to play 2 now, and obviously we know now that there's a version of 2 coming as well. But like, all right, now I've got to go find a PS2 copy of 2, and like, is that then going to be hard to go back and kind of forget lots of mechanics and improvements and quality of life stuff that is layered up and go back to being a clunky ass PS2 game? So I thought I'll start clunky, and they can only get better. I am very upset that I slept on this series for so long because this is absolutely exactly my shit.
Yeah,
like 100% my shit. Like it even seems to appear like fully formed. Like it's not. Sometimes you get the first game in a series that comes out a bit wonky and a bit weird, and usually it's the second or third one where they really nail down what makes it brilliant. Like it takes a few iterations sometimes for a series or a concept to really get there. Yakuza basically hit it out the park immediately, I think. Like
you can kind of see why all those people who loved it from the start would have just been hoarse, just going on and trying to get people into playing it. And I know that I was watching a thing on YouTube tonight where Max Scoville was saying that he's really looking forward to Yakuza 6, and he was like, if you'd have told me last year that I'd be this excited for a Yakuza game, I'd have just thought you were mad. But he says I devoured like Zero and Kiwami. Absolutely adored everything about them.
Yeah, and like I like the. I've seen bits of it, and I know about like the Majima stuff in both games, which sounds fucking amazing. You can just turn up in bins and want a fight. Like yes.
Majima everywhere, is it?
Yeah, or like you hear on the radio, like, oh, a policeman's been seen causing trouble around so-and-so area, and you go there, and it's just him in a police outfit.
Is that's got is it Mr. Erection?
Yes, that's got Mr. Erection.
Something like that, isn't it?
Just humping in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game, like, it starts off pretty serious, to be honest. Like, you start off with kind of the setup for the game. Like, you start with a mob boss. You know, one of your Oyabuns, because you get to learn a lot of words for like Japanese mob culture. You learn Oyabun, and you see like he gets killed, and one thing comes from another. Main character Kiryu goes to jail for 10 years. Or 20, like a long time. So he comes out of jail, like, middle-aged. Like, he's 35, 40. Out of the gate. Which is kind of interesting and kind of brave. Like, because usually you start young and strong, but he's, like, a rough time. He was already badass when he was, you know, before he went in prison. And he comes out even more badass somehow. And once the mob stuff gets going and, you know, that starts kind of easing off and you get a bit more freedom to explore, like, just exploring the city, it feels like a place. Like, Kamurocho...
Well, it obviously is.
It is a place. But, like, I shush your gob.
No, I do know people that have gotten into these games in the last year who've gone to Japan and have absolutely freaked out. I think Persona 5 ties into this sort of edict as well, where people have, like, super, super freaked out because it's like they're walking in... one of the games.
This is it. But like I know it's a video game representation of a sort of place, but you learn it. You run around and like I don't need to look at the map anymore. I kind of know where the Popo is, where I can buy my drugs. I know where the burger van is, where I can get my burgers. You know, I know all the places to go. I know where the fucking claw machine is, and go and waste more goddamn yen trying to pick up goddamn fat bird toy that won't go, even though you get it dead on and you pick it up and it falls. Game's rigged. It's horseshit. It is rigged. It's kind of like I like that Kazama Kiryu is a rad dude. He is tough as nails. He wears a really light grey suit. He just walks around, and like every 10 minutes or even 2 minutes, random thugs will come up to you. They know who you are. Like, come on then, old man. We'll have a go. And he stomps the shit out of them every single time. I threw a bike at a guy and it hit him in the face and it knocked him out in slow motion. I stomped on like 100 dudes' necks, like to finish, like standing on their faces. I learned how to wrestle near the end and was doing like suplexes on guys in the middle of the street. I killed a guy with a big traffic cone.
I saw because Holly Bennett's had like a similar level of addiction as you within the Yakuza stuff, and I think she's on Yakuza 5 now, but she's like worked through the entire series in order.
That's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah.
I remember like seeing one of the fight sequences, and Lado picks up like a motor scooter and just twats a bloke round the face with it.
He's so
Fair
hard.
enough, mate.
He is so hard as well.
So hard in that disco suit as well.
Yeah, I see. In the first game, so this is interesting. In the first one, the karaoke wasn't there yet, and the maid bars weren't there. No, the hostess bars were there, but I didn't really interact with them because they just felt like they are a very expensive side activity. Like they cost you a lot of money to go to, and like I'd rather spend that money on health items and better like, gear or the claw machine. But generally, I like to keep my money. I didn't like to spend it that much, so I didn't really interact with that much. If there was a karaoke bar, I'd have been in like a fucking shot. But on the PS2, it wasn't there. Yeah, I don't know if it's the second one or third one where it came in, but it's not long off. I know that much.
Isn't it the one of the new games where there's a working Space Harrier machine in there, and there's like Virtua Fighter in the in the new one,
and Kiryu's in it. Like they've modded Kiryu into Virtua Fighter as well. Here's an interesting. One of the side activities they do have is the batting cages, and for a while it was a running joke between me and Laura that everything important happens at the batting cages because like 4 missions in a row were like go to the batting cages, shit's kicking off. Like what now? What is possibly happening at the batting cages this time? I want to tell you about a quest I did. I want to tell you about a quest, a random sort of in the world quest, not like a main quest. So throughout the game, random strangers will come up to you and like tell you to go to the bar they come from. Like, you know, they're like kind of they're promo guys. They'll come up and say, "Hey, come to so and so bar, meet our girls, they're great," or "Come drink at this bar, it's amazing. Here's some tissues." And this guy keeps giving you tissues. Like, why are you filling up my inventory? Because you've got like a Resident Evil style inventory where it's just a block. It's like, that could be taken up with a gun or a health item, and you have given me a pack of fucking tissues. What do I do with these tissues? So I had 8 pairs of these tissues at one point. I was getting rid of them in the box, but I couldn't know what to do with them. I'm wandering around. This is like 3/4 into the game, and I'm wandering up in the top left, sort of like the northwest of the area. And there's like a public toilet. And I wander near it, and I see a text box coming out of it, like a someone talking inside. So what the fuck's that? So I walk up to it, and there's like just a quiet man, just quietly going, "Please, anyone, please help. There's no toilet paper. Won't someone help me? Oh, please." And like, there's no like, you can't interact with him, but it just these dialogue boxes keep coming up, like, "Oh, the toilet paper's out. What do I do? Oh no, I'm disgrace." So I had that sudden brainwave. Tissues. Oh my goodness. So I ran all the way back to my base, which took about 5 minutes because I got into 8 random fights on the way. Picked up some tissues from my box, went back, met the guy giving out the tissues on the way back, who gave me some more. You fucker. And went back to the loot, and it gave me an option to talk. And he's like, "Oh, here you go, here's some tissues." And the guy's like, "Amazing, thank you." And then the kind of screen kind of cuts, and then he comes out the toilet, and it's like, "Thank you so much. I was having no problem. Here's my business card and a shitload of money, like 300,000 yen, which is quite a lot. It's like, here's money. Like, I helped a man poo, and he paid me for it,
and he gave you a shitload of money,
and a business card. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? And like, I've just been playing, like, and I played it really solidly for a few days. Like, a couple of weeks I played it over, and I kind of banged through it quick, so I was really enjoying it. And it's just fun to walk around and smash guys. I've read a really cool theory, actually, about it, to explain away the random fights, because they keep happening. Like, random thugs come up and have a go at you. And the idea is that Kiryu is so legendary in the city, is that it's a rite of passage for young gang members to come up and have to fight him. It's like, go fight Kiryu, he's gonna win, but you've got to do it before we'll let you in the gang. Like, I don't know if that's canon or not, but I think it's one of the PSP games had it as a bit of lore or something, like an off-word thing, and it's just like, that's amazing. That suddenly explains the random battles in Yakuza easily. But I was blown away by it. I did not expect to love it as much as I did, and I'm, like I say earlier, fucking furious with myself that I have waited this long. Because now it's hard to get hold of a copy of Yakuza 2 because it's expensive.
I've got Yakuza 2 on PS2, so I'll sort you out with that.
Good lad.
I'm pretty sure it's in the kitchen because I had a bit of a
why is it in the kitchen?
I've got a big cupboard in the kitchen where a lot of my old like PS2 games are.
Okay.
So yeah, and also that Yakuza 6 Special Edition is just amazing. I sent you a link on.
Oh, I saw it
on Twitter now.
I know it's got the one that's got shot glasses and all sorts of shit in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, hardcover book, the 2 slots, the dice, the I think it's a coaster or a couple of coasters for the shot glasses. The hardcover art book. And
speaking of shot glasses, in the game you can go to one of the bars and it'll explain about the beer when you buy it. And there's like 20 different kinds of alcohol you can buy. It explained about Carlsberg. With the Carlsberg bottle, and I had like 8 or 9 text boxes explaining what Carlsberg was like. I'm like, I'm learning and drinking. It's great. Yakuza PS2, man. It's up there. Like, proper fucking brilliant game. Like, PS2 was such a good console, wasn't it?
I didn't really play much on it.
You're mistaken then, because there was so much weird shit on that thing. So, that was my GOTY 2. GOTY 2. GOTY 2. What's your GOTY 2?
I've got teas for this one.
Oh, you slut.
Yeah, it's me. So sometimes a game comes along which you don't expect to be even vaguely as good as it is. You take a risk thinking, I rather fancy that, I'll give it a pop. And end up falling deeper and deeper into it, to the point of a blanket obsession. And the sequel comes along and impossibly betters it in almost every single way. In any other year, this would be my game of the year. Again. My number 2 game of 2017 is Skyforce Reloaded.
I twigged right at the end what you said. It was that was a good tease.
Thanks, man.
Great tease.
So we haven't had a conversation about this since I picked it up. I know the esteemed Mr. Greer is also as as obsessed as I am.
Hey everyone,
so.
take a shot at every mention of Jeremy Greer.
He's a good lad.
He's a good lad.
The first game is a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up. You collect stars and you spend them on better weapons. Each level has in-game challenges for you. Collect all the stars, rescue all the humans, kill 70% of the enemies, kill 100% of the enemies, take no damage. Completing these are not only ferociously addictive, but you also unlock new levels as well as harder difficulties, but then you get more stars to spend on weapons and abilities. The harder difficulties then move beyond you just upgrading your ship, and it becomes more of a ballet of where to apply shields, mega bombs and lasers to overcome the hordes. That was all in the first game. What a chuffing game it was.
Good game. I picked it up after that the Game of the Year show, and I loved that game. I definitely hit my skill ceiling with it, but I loved it.
It's certainly like super compulsive within kind of getting nearer to those little in-game challenges. And again, it's a game that super rewards whether you've got like 5 minutes or a little bit longer. So Reloaded just comes with more.
Okay.
Your ship, built on front laser, side cannons, missiles, magnet to pick up the stars, can now be upgraded a good 3 times beyond the limitations of the original.
Okay.
So it becomes crazy powerful. When I got like over where the max out would normally have been on the original, to see like another level be available and then another level be available, it's like ooh. So as you go through the levels, you not only get cards to affect abilities for a limited time, say you get extra stars for 15 minutes, but other stuff too. You get parts to build entirely new ships.
That's new.
A progression system to, say, rescue humans faster, give you points where you can hover over a point of the map and get abilities. But you also unlock scientists. They've all got sort of little quirky names that relate to the abilities they'll give you. Say, Gringo Star, gives you boxes of stars that you can pick up from the levels.
Okay.
Kate Brush, for example, will give you a moment where if you're going through a level and obviously you're targeted on, one of the things you're targeted on is taking no damage. If you get kind of that brush with a bullet, you'll get an extra shield that will automatically kick in.
Right.
So you get tonight. I got Lucy Clover, which kicks in with just lots of abilities improving across the board. Like I felt faster, like the bullets were coming out faster. I was getting like random sort of little things happening here and there, which is like, that's really cool. You've got stuff like in the original, you could get up to 5 at a time of the shields, of the lasers, of the mega bomb.
Yep.
On this one, if you get 5 and then you get another one that kicks in, it will automatically say fire off a laser immediately.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like, you reach a limit, but let's just spam that one.
Because I used to manually do that and forget sometimes. That's really cool. They kind of that's okay. And it's a quality of life improvement.
So you'll get little ongoing achievements that you can get. There was a bit with the weekend challenge, which was just like a infinitely scrolling.
Oh yeah.
Sort of bit. There was a bit that Jeremy sort of linked me to. He was like, if you haven't gone on that this weekend, do so. And there was one where everything had just converted like to a 1990s arcade machine. So the music had gone more chiptune. It was rolling over this like Tron type background. What? All the enemies had turned sort of like a bit more Space Invader-y and a bit more Galaxian and stuff. And I was like, that's really cool.
That's weird.
The artwork's like much better again. The soundtrack's incredible on it. And like I say, I've got pieces for loads of the ships, but at this point, I've been playing it a good 6 weeks or so maybe, and I haven't got one of the new ships yet. So, but it's just they've just amplified everything. Just turned it up a notch, and it doesn't come across as as overkill. It just comes across as like genuinely being different to the original game, but also just again like crazy good fun to play about with. The villain of the piece is like Theresa May, so if you hate if you hate the Prime Minister, you'll be fine with that. It's just a game that fits into my gaming landscape wonderfully, and it brings me back to how much I adored vertically scrolling shooters as a kid. But it never feels too much. It just feels like you can see ways that you can improve, and you can see ways that you can get better. The game's never unfair, but the level of adrenaline of going through it and desperately trying not to be touched or to get those scientists and all that kind of stuff, it's just superb.
Sounds like they've taken like what worked well from the original and just like gone right, everything bigger, more, and more other stuff. But that's really cool. Like they've expanded. They've not just built a bog standard sequel. They've expanded upon what works, and I think that's a good logical progression. The stuff like the scientists and stuff to pick up like that sounds like a really cool adaptation, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a cool evolution of the system.
Yeah, you get stuff like there's even when you go, because there's a progression system whereby if you say shoot a certain amount of enemies over the length of time, you'll get like this bar that it's sort of out of level that will build up like an experience bar. And when you hit certain points, certain things will happen in the game as well. Oh. So there was one where there'd be certain portals that I could hover over, and it would give me a bonus. So it wouldn't be like blowing something up would say, might give me like a mega bomb logo or something like that. I could hover over this thing for a certain amount of time, and it would give me an upgrade. There's one where it said, scientists have figured out a way to rescue the humans faster. So that then kicks into your game, and just lots of little touches that are just really, really well done. And also, whereas you've got like, say, your front laser in the first one, you'd speed it up. So, but it would just be pointing upwards. On this one, when you get to like the second level and the third level of your upgrades, it starts doing like a triple shot and spreading outwards.
Oh, like yeah.
So you've got your shot going upwards, but you've also got like two diagonally that are pointing out from that as well. And it visually it starts varying those up as well, like your side lasers when you get your wing cannons. When you get to like the second bit, they kind of turn into this like plasma green that sort of aren't just like bullets that like boost out with this kind of plasma like belch that are coming out the wings and stuff. And the game's like $6.99 or something. It's super, super cheap, but it is absolutely brilliant, and far and away better than Skyforce Reloaded. Skyforce Anniversary, and Skyforce Anniversary was on Plus not long before Skyforce Reloaded launched, so I'm hoping that a few people maybe have tried that, persisted with it, and might give this a bash. But Skyforce Anniversary's success meant that we got this, so I'm hoping that they can do more of them, because it's just superb. It really is good.
Amazing. I haven't picked it up yet. I've been meaning to. But I will be picking it up soon, absolutely, because again, you've made it sound amazing.
I think you'll love it.
Dirty man.
I really, really love it. And
is it on Vita as well, or is it just PS4?
I don't know. It is visually. It's a kick on from the original game. There's some wonderful stuff with like the 3D in there. But I don't know if it's on Vita.
Okay. I'll have a look later.
Although I see that Anniversary's getting like a disc release as well on Vita and PS4.
Is it? Oh, is it limited run?
Yeah.
Hey.
So I love that game, and I'm so glad that was one of those where I looked at it and just went, yeah, that looks fun. But I had no idea that was going to snare me in the way that it did. Holy moly.
Yeah. I remember from last year. Like, I didn't expect this. Are we there then?
Yes.
Right. We're at Game of the Year time, finally, after, 3 hours at this point?
Yeah.
That's good. It's all right. It's good. It's pretty short for us.
We're messing with time, you see, because we've got a bit of the
Hadron Collider. Okay.
The VoomphTube.
The VoomphTube. So, okay, I'll do... Should I do a preamble or should I just say it? Oh.
You can be edited too if you want. If you don't want, you don't have to.
Okay,
the
I'm going to do a very short preamble, I think. I'm just going to do it. So my game of the year of this year actually came out this year. So, first one of the list so far that came out this year. Of all the games that came out, this is the only one I actually played. And I'm glad I did. It's a game about robots that's more human than anything else I've ever played. My game of the year is Nier Automata.
Tell me all about it.
Jesus Christ, where do we start? So
I own this game. I own the version with the T-shirt.
I know you do.
And I still haven't put it on. I played a bit of the first one.
Or understand the significance of the logo on the T-shirt.
Yeah. I played the original bit when I picked it up because people were going like, "Oh, you should play the original before you play it." I was like, oh, "Okay." I quite enjoyed what I played on that, but again, I got swiped away with other stuff, I think. So.
Yeah. Those people are still right. You should play the original first. So I did. I played the original again on my own, basically. I think I rented it from Love Film at the time. I was like, oh, this looks like interesting. Might be fun. Yeah, go on then. I'll give that a go.
Back in there.
I was chucking just any old stuff on there, just seeing what would come through. I played loads of games like that, and that was one of the ones that stood out. I was like, oh, I'll give that a go. It came through the same sort of year that Resonance of Fate turned up, and I fucking loved that as well.
I remember that.
Resident Fate was weird as shit. It was all like a really weird combat system where you had to like run between each other and do jumps. Oh, it's a weird game. Anyway, back on topic. So I rented the original Nier and enjoyed it so much I went out and bought a copy pretty much there and then because I knew like I can't rent this. I need this. I need to finish it. And played the living shit out of that game. Like I don't think I 100%ed it, but I came close-ish. It was different, so different to anything else I played. So inventive, so out there, and the way it dealt with its New Game Plus was amazing and a kick in the arse every single time a change happened. You're like, oh no, and then it did it again on a third time, and it did the thing that I've talked about before, and I'll talk about again, where the final playthrough did something in the ending so good, so brilliant. I was like, well, I'm never playing this again. Finished. I'm done with it. That's perfect. Nothing I could do with this game from this point on would be better than that moment because I didn't know about this when I did it. I'll tell you, it's the final ending of Nier, the original Nier, deletes your save file completely. You give yourself over to ensure the future of humanity, basically.
That's really cool.
And I didn't realise that's what it was asking at the time. So I said, oh, delete yourself. Like, yeah, okay, click. And it brings up your menu. And things start vanishing. Your inventory starts disappearing item at a time. Like, what's happening? What's happening? And, like, items, like, panels on the menu start vanishing. Like, what the fuck is happening? And it finishes. And you're like, did that just... And you go to load game and there's nothing there. You're like, it really deleted my save. Oh my god. It killed me, floored me, and it rocketed that game into top 5 of ever. Like that moment was like, yep, that's it. Perfect.
Do you remember that boy from Polygon in his review?
Yeah, I do. Well, the only black marks on an otherwise stellar career.
And
fishing. Let's say, to be fair, the fishing was a bit wank.
Yeah, but that's as far as it got. And I'd still remember at that time when, with the original, where people were just going like, again... this nudges towards what I was saying with Andromeda, where people were going like, yeah, there's loads that's wrong with it here and there, but there's ambition. There's some really unusual stuff. Like the story's amazing. You know what I mean. People pushed past the jank to see something that was a little bit special, and they found themselves within it.
Yeah. And I think patience is a virtue, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's knowing your own mind as well.
Oh yeah, know what you're willing to go. But so with Automata, it was announced. I was like, oh fuck, getting under there. Oh my god, and it's like, yeah, it looks amazing. Look at that. Like, and then like, oh, Platinum are making it, and then that was a bit of a red flag for me because I'm 50-50 with Platinum. For every game they do, I love. They release one that's just really disappointing. For every Bayonetta, there's the Avatar game. For every Vanquish, there's Mad World. Like, it's like they're really 50-50. They either smash it or they miss. And I got worried. I was like, please don't ruin my Nier, my weird little game that only I seem to like. I know that's false. I know a lot of people like Nier, but like at the time, it felt like no, I'm the only one that likes this. This is mine. I was scared. I even said it on one of the episodes of my One Bro run. Like, someone was asking me about it, and I said, I'm Platinumer on it, and I'm a bit concerned because I don't want them to ruin the combat. And God, I was wrong. I was just Mr. Wrong. I was wronger than I've ever been, which is fine. I don't mind being wrong when it's about that. So the game came out, and like I said at the start, it's a game about human nature with an entirely robotic cast. And whereas other games like that would ask, like, can a robot become human? Can an android become human? Nier Automata seems to ask the question, should a robot become human?
Ooh.
It's more, it's not the simple, and just to kind of, now this is not what I think, but it's not the David Cage approach. And I like David Cage. I think he's trying things that are different, and I think he deserves to be in the industry. And while his games may hit or miss, at least he's trying. I don't think he deserves the shit that he gets. But Yoko Taro is just operating on a whole different level. Every single quest and every single task you do has something there, has some flavour, has some oddness to it, has some emotion, has some exploration of some sort of human condition. Some of them are baffling, and you've got a character called Sartre, or John Paul in English, but in every other language it's called Sartre, and he's talking about, beauty and love and art and stuff, and he's got these fans that follow him around, and that has a very strange ending, that quest, and it just kind of ends. And some of these requests that they want you to do, some of the missions that you do, genuinely heartbreaking. Like robots that are kind of learning what it means to be human, but not having the tools to deal with it. Like, essentially being children in these robot bodies and not understanding what things mean. Like, oh, the robot just stopped working. It's fine, right? And you're like, he's dead. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, oh no. There are so many like set pieces or so many sections of the game that stand out. It's really hard to pick. Like, oh, this bit was good or that bit was good. There's the machine village where there's a bunch of the bad guy robots are trying to live in peace and live happily, and there's some lovely stuff that happens there and some fucking awful stuff that happens there. Very, very hard to play and very, very hard to get through and know that something shit is coming. It's not to pull this thread again, but it's a very Dark Souls thing of you help people and their lives get ruined. Things you do cause a negative reaction to things, and some of it involves the main plot, because there is a story going on in the background as well. There's some stuff that happens in a desert where there's robots experimenting with what it means to have children, and you have not lived until you've come to an open round desert area where 40 robots are trying to mechanically clunkingly fuck each other like bins banging off of each other, and it's like, okay, which builds into a crescendo of them chanting, "This cannot continue, this cannot continue," which turns into the soundtrack to the incoming boss fight.
Because you see, I obviously listened to the 8-4 Play podcast, and 8-4 did the English dialogue to it, and the dubbing and stuff. And hearing one of the fellows on there who was the head of that hear that some of his dialogue had made it into the soundtrack, he was just rapturous. Like, when he heard like "Become as Gods," and he was like, oh my god, that's that's the work that we did on it. It's made like the soundtrack. It became as
speaking of "Become as Gods," the scene in the factory with the religious cult. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That was a hell of a scene. And like usually, sometimes with games like this, they kind of have that weird middle third where it kind of gets a bit rubbish. No, Nier doesn't do that. Nier's all killer. Like, there's something happening all the time. And now you've mentioned the dialogue, like, let it be said that the translation has been wonderful. Like, it doesn't feel weird or forced. Like, it all feels natural and funny. And the characters, 2B and 9S, they're engrossing and exciting. And I like them.
8-4 are amazing. The one, because they did Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate as well, which I loved. And they've done various bits like, some of the more recent Fire Emblem games they've been involved with and stuff. The one constant that they have throughout their entire games that they work on is they will always have one character that uses the term "bring home the bacon."
Okay.
Which I love. I just think that's a wonderful piece of continuity.
So if I ever go back through it, I'm going to be looking out for that now. But yeah, like all the characters, like even the side characters, there's something going on with lots of them. There's there's the spunky operator back on the home base that's almost flirting with you for most of the game, and talking about films you want to watch together, or like things you found, like flowers you found. It's like, that's really strange. This would all be fine, but it plays good as well. Like I said before, I was worried they were going to platinum it out and ruin it. But like, the combat is platinum good. When they're good, when it's Devil May Cry good, when it's Vanquish good, when it's Bayonetta good, it's platinum good. Like, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of choice with the weapons that you pick and the sort of approaches you can take as well. There's different bots you can have by your side. One of them will have like a laser gun. One of them will have like a radial attack. There's one that's just radar that can do other stuff as well. And you can choose like how you set your guy up. You've got a chip system. It's where you basically have control of your character's operating system, and you can plug chips in to improve your abilities. So you start with the basic ones, like the operating system, which if you ever take out, you get a game over. There's the HUD elements all have their own chip, and they all take a certain amount of space. So you've got maybe sort of 50 units of space to use, and you've got maybe your minimap will take up 2 units, and your health bar will be 1 unit, and enemy names will be 1 unit, and enemy health bars will be 1 unit, and you can choose like what you want to get rid of. If you don't want to have lots of clutter, you can pare it down. I did pare mine down a fair bit by the end. It's just had the map and the enemy health values in the end. Like, I was really knocking it down. And it gives you the advantage that you pick up chips in the game, so you can kind of improve, like, improve dodge, or health back when I do a counter, like other kind of cool stuff like that. And there's lots of different classes of them as well. I tended to pick ones that let me have health back so I could stay in the fight for longer, and because of those, I basically don't think I died once in the whole game. I was playing on normal, but I kind of basically maxed out on my health items. Or there's one that lets you use a health item when you're in trouble. Automatically, which is great, because otherwise you've got to pick it yourself, and it's like, remember to use the health item. And that's what I did in Nier, the original, was I used to forget the health items. It was like, oh, I'm dead, I forgot to drink a potion. Well done, dipshit. But this chip system is really clever, and it kind of explains it well, and the tutorial that explains how it works is really good too, which I love. The world's fun to explore, even from the opening bit when you're sort of running around this sort of knackered out city and just sort of looking at what's happening on. Like, it changes and it adapts as you play, and things happen, and whole swathes of the city get fucked up. Like, a third into the game, like, a large chunk of the floor goes and it caves in, and there's a huge cave system, like, unveiled underneath where you're walking. And stuff sort of starts kicking off from there differently as well. So I really enjoyed, like, just walking around the world, and it's quick as well. Like, you're not trudging, you're whizzing around.
Do you think Yoko Taro's genius?
I think he might be.
Do you think it's kind of?
I think he thinks he's a moron, but he's actually a genius.
I love how he downplays his own stuff. It's just a wonderful sort of opposite from some of the super AAA bollocks that they try to feed in their hype machine. I was looking at, because obviously with him, it seems to be like this perfect meeting of minds with Platinum. And I remember thinking it was brave of Square at the time that they were taking this game that was beloved but hadn't particularly sold well. And they make Nier Automata, and it kind of sells a couple of million. Yeah.
If anything, now probably better critically regarded than Nier. Like, it's that good.
Well, the last time that we saw Yoko Taro, like, was Jack and God 3, which was considered sort of a little bit broken but had its moments. And I was like, God, because when Nier Automata came out, the price just soared on it. I looked and I was like, oh, it's $15.99 on the PlayStation Store now. That's pretty cool. And I was looking at the DLC, and one of the DLCs is because like there's ones that like, oh, that one's £1.60, that one's £1.60. This one's $24.99, and it says All Sisters Prologue Set, a bundle containing the prologues of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 0. This downloadable content is available to play after viewing NDA of the game.
What?
I was like, that's clearly
mental.
The most Yoko Taro thing. So the main game is now $15.99, but there is DLC which is £25.
Of course there is.
Which ties into one of the endings.
Which becomes and I've never played Dragon Guard. I don't know what's going on with that, but I hear that one of the endings, spin-off style, is where Nier comes from, and then Automata spins off one of the endings of Nier. While we're talking about endings, oh my god, the best New Game Plus system I think I've ever seen. Because
even better than DS2's?
Yeah. Sorry, it is.
That's fine.
Well, the thing is, when you finish the game, you haven't finished the game. Like, you've seen the credits, you're not done. You are not done. Like, I think it's an interesting, maybe fake-out tactic from Yoko Taro, because it just seems like the sort of thing he'd find funny. You then play the game again, like, and it's different. Like, massively different, and it unveils mechanics that you don't see until New Game Plus. Like, there's a hacking mechanic you don't get until New Game Plus. You see the story play out from a different perspective, with different sort of things happening, and then there's a third one to go through where it takes what you'd expect to be a standard New Game Plus, and like then continues the story after the end of the New Game Plus cycle. So it's almost like a sequel or a following on series of chapters after the canon end of the game. It then keeps going and ramps up again to such a silly level.
Is this still surprising you, knowing that there were multiple endings?
I knew it was coming.
Game?
Yeah, I knew it was coming because I knew what Nier did, and I thought, right, that New Game Plus system there was fucking phenomenal.
But with the Revelations still kind of beating you down.
Yeah, like I wasn't sure how they were going to play it. And, like the way they played it, I think was really clever, a really smart way of doing it. Because whenever you do fuck it, not going to talk about it. No, it's a spoiler. Nope, not talking about it.
Thank you.
There are things in those New Game Pluses that I sit there with my jaw on the floor, like, what the fuck? This is a brave move. And it comes to this just ridiculous crescendo. And this is the point where I think it's important, if you really want to get the most out of it, to play Nier first. Okay. Because there is some stuff in Nier Automata that broke me.
Because of Nier.
You know, we were talking a while ago, a good while ago, about it was a thing that happened in JoJo, and it's a thing for you that happened in Fafnir, where a piece of music will come in from an old season or like an old show. Like, oh fuck, Nier does one of those, and Laura was there with me. Like, that's the thingy music. What's happening? And it gets better and better from there as well. That. And there are things that layer over you, like, what is this? I know this. Laura, help me.
I love that sort of stuff.
And while we're on it, the soundtrack to this game is...
First one was a belter. I've been on Sound of Play with at least one of those.
It is best in class. It's the tits. Thanks, Laura.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's the tits. Nier Automata, I think it might be better than the original Nier soundtrack. I think it actually might even be a little better, and it's very close. It's like trying to pick your favourite child, but it's
Barry.
Nigel. I love that soundtrack, and we downloaded that as soon as we could. Like, got it bought paper, got it on, and it's on the rotation basically now forever. Like, it's so good to just we play ball games to it. You know, it's lifting and lilting, and the robot soundtrack, like the robot songs where they talk over and it becomes part of the music, the become a god, become Asgard, like properly like filled with nostalgia and grit. And I think it's happened again where I got to the good ending, the true ending again. And I played through it, and I played through those credits, and you get to do a hacking mini game in the credits.
Cool.
And I remember seeing 84 Play come up and shooting the pieces and going, CJ'd love that.
Yeah, I love those guys.
I shut them to bits. And again, it offers you a choice at the end, and the choice I made, I was like, well, I think I'm done. I'm going to put this to bed. I don't think I need to play this again. I think that's perfect. And it's very, like, brave, again, to take that step and to do such a big sweeping changes at the end like that. And for a game to be that brave at the end is so important. Like, to me personally, the same with Dragon's Dogma. Like, the way that game shifts in the last chunk, you're like, what the flying fuck is going on? Like, it takes such a hard turn left out of nowhere. Like, this suddenly changes everything. And they didn't have to do this. They could have just ended normally. They didn't have to go this far, but they do. And, like, I respect it so much. I don't want to sully the memories by going back and going, oh, this was good the second time. Like, because some games play well the second time, but I don't find RPGs I often get. Like, I find the second run of an RPG, it has to be something special, or it has to be, like, action-focused. Like, here we go again, like Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls is an action-focused game where you can change the way you play it, and the story still happens, but it's kind of secondary to the combat unless you're looking for it. Whereas a game like Nier, or your standard RPGs, are more story-focused, and those beats happen, and, like, I've tried to put on old Final Fantasies, and I kind of get 10 hours in. I just can't be bothered anymore.
I think there's something about a special playthrough of a game where there's a curiosity to go through that again, but there's also a sort of tentative nature of not wanting to tread on old memories when that game's been really special for you. I feel that way about BioShock 2.
Okay.
That I absolutely adored. And, you know, it got better and better as it went along. Like, the final quarter was incredible. One of my favourite endings of any game ever. It's obviously on the BioShock collection now. There's a part of me that wants to wander through it again and just enjoy it anew, but I'm really nervous because that first playthrough meant such a lot to me and was so special that, you know, maybe I might look on it in a different way this time or not click with it in the same way, and I don't want anything to kind of...
Yeah.
To
There's a lot to be said for letting things lie. Like, play it, be done, and I'm happy to leave it as it is. I'm not going to sell it. It's still in my collection. It's sitting, I'm looking at it right now, in fact. I've still got my copy of Nier on PS3. I'm never going to get rid of that because it's a memory. Like, I look at that and think, yeah, that's fucking brilliant, that was. And I've got the soundtrack. I've got my takeaway. That's what I've got. I don't need to play it again. There's so much coming out this year that I didn't even play. This was maybe the only game that came out this year that I managed to actually fucking play. So yeah, my 2017 Game of the Year, Nier Automata, and very well deserved. Even though it is the only game of 2017 I actually played, it would have smashed it regardless.
Yeah, but I know how much that game meant to you. And you know, I think a lot of places, a lot of the media either didn't play it or kind of forgot about it because it was a January game last year?
It was early. It was
early,
like,
wasn't it?
I think it was February or April. It was early. First quarter, certainly. And, you know, when Game of the Year shows come round, like, I think a lot of debate always skews towards the most recent or the most current stuff that's come out. And that's just natural, you know, you can't help you think, oh yeah, this was really good. And you think, oh, that game I played 8 months ago, that wasn't that good. Like, things have advanced now, but...
Wasn't it Jim Sterling that said if people forget about Nier Automata, like for their Game of the Year because it came out early on, then they're fucking idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I've done. It sounds really stupid, but in my book, my little notebook, where I sometimes make the odd note, not for this show, but for other shows, I have kept a list in the front of the games I've played that I liked this year. Because I knew when I played Nier Automata and I finished it, I thought, that's fucking brilliant. Like, I love that. And when we do our Game of the Year show, it's going to be on it, and I have to remember to put it on there because I don't know what's coming out later in the year that might, you know, make me forget about it. I mean, there was the year we did our Game of the Year show, and I forgot about Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I do that? Because it came out earlier in the year, and I forgot all about the damn thing, and it should have been on there. I can't remember which year it was now, but I remember getting to the end, cutting it together, and just looking across at my PS4 and going, oh yeah. And just, I didn't want to miss stuff, and I'm going to do that again this year. Just like keep a tally of the stuff that's worked for me and affected me, and hopefully make a more I hope that like this was, a more accurate and a more honest portrayal of the stuff I did this year that I really liked, rather than the stuff I did 2 months ago I really liked. Because if I'd have not kept this list, my list might have been whole different. Indie title Serial Cleaner might have been on there. I liked it, but not as much as I liked some of the other stuff. But time makes things fade, and you forget about things. And I think it's really important when you play a game at the start of a year. If you are, if you're doing a Game of the Year show, this is advice for all 8 of you that are listening that do these. Keep those notes. Remember the stuff you've played. Just because it came out in the last quarter doesn't necessarily mean you should forget about it. It's amazing. Nier Automata is so fucking good, man. So good. It plays good, it feels good, and it feels bad when it does feel bad, and it feels good again.
Box quote.
Put that on your fucking box.
Yes.
You cowards. So I now have talked for a very long time, and I'd like to pass over the microphone to you, and I would like to ask you, with as much or as little lead up as you want. I know the answer, I don't know why I'm bothering. What's your Game of the Year number 1? What's your Game of the Year of 2017?
Warframe.
Yay! Called it.
So,
I'm surprised,
CJ,
I am surprised that every single answer you have given today has not been Warframe.
Well, it has been on one of them.
What's the best book you played? Warframe.
I'm a man for all seasons, but sometimes a lot of those seasons are Warframe.
What's the game you wanted to play more of? Warframe.
So it's been an amazing year. One of my favourites we've done, honestly. And a big part of that has been the last 6 months. What started out with a curiosity following a question on the Easy Allies podcast led into a chat with a friend and taking a little bit of a leap of faith. In that, finding something quirky and a little bit special, in turn, you trusting me enough to take on board my enthusiasm and challenging sort of the opinions that you'd previously formed about it. At the time of a big AAA title getting all the press, all the people playing it, we wheeled out our tiny little podcasting trampoline and boinged about, and people were generous enough to come along with us. Fabulous folks that not only found similar fun to that which we were having, but started peeling back layers of the game along with us, forging their own paths, sharing their own stories along with our own. It's been energising, it's been exciting, such a thrill to be part of, as we all kind of documented it and shared it together. Watching Digital Extremes themselves was such a massive part of stoking those fires for me as well. Megan, Danielle and Reb do such an amazing job of not just talking to the community, but excitedly sharing moments along with us, be it Megan's Xbox One at 1 stream on Monday, Danielle's PS4 at 4 stream on Tuesday, Thursday's primetime stream where Meg and Reb play PC stuff, show off fan concepts, amazing artwork. It's all a joy to behold. The regular dev streams are fab, and it's a treat to see they're just as passionate as we are about the game, as humble and nerdy nervous as they are excited. Planes of Eidolon launched, and Steve Sinclair did a huge periscope answering questions. The bloke must have been absolutely chuffing shattered, but he was giddy with excitement to kind of get it out there and talk to people. There was a recent dev stream where the next round of Tennogen fan creations were being shown, and Steve, as the creator himself, was nerding out about the intricacies on like outfits and stuff. There was the episode where the sound team got to show off their talents. That was wonderfully special. And sort of peeling back the layer of, there's a Warframe that's called Gara her powers are glass, and she can sort of form this massive sort of glass surrounding shield that breaks. And they were showing that no glass got broken within the sound effects for it, and the way that they melded together the sound, which is this like this really amazing sound, was they got a wine glass and they submerged it in water and started playing around the rim, and then they got a singer in to sing like an octave off what the glass was doing.
Okay.
And just them showing off all these amazing little touches was wonderful. I've gotten into a podcast recently called The War with Art, where 3 of the team talk about their passion projects beyond digital extremes. One of them's doing like a new album. Another one's trying to get a book published. One's working on a children's story, which is illustrating a children's story, which is very much out of style for them, but they're talking about moving beyond everyday work and making time to still create for themselves and stuff, which is wonderful. I've nerded out about the journey, digital extremes themselves, and earlier how special Second Dream was. And with the Second Dream, there's a certain part of that I may end up getting tattooed. It's that important to me.
DL.
3 lines, and if you remember those 3 lines,
So I just to interject here, then, just not to cut you off, but I didn't include this on my list because I knew you'd be talking about it. Like, if I was honest, this would probably have been my number 2 or number 3, realistically. But I knew you'd be bringing it up, so I didn't want to steal your shit by talking about it at number 3 while you had loads to go at number 1. But yeah, our last 6 months of Warframe has been such a blast.
It's been
given how I started with the game, given how I played it on the PS4 originally, and thought it was absolute horse piss, did not like it one bit. Like, the fact that it's now this is astonishing.
You know, I've seen sort of folks around us that have tried to start playing it and kind of haven't clicked with it. And, you know, everybody's different. That's fine. But I feel really honoured that so many people trusted us a little bit and sort of glued onto our enthusiasm and started it, and they found stuff and other people found stuff, and, you know, we all sort of chipped away at it together. And the game isn't wonderful about explaining itself particularly early on, and as everybody kind of figured out the systems and stuff and made little discoveries, it was fab. And, you know, it's still my favourite snapshot of all of this is of Brad Galloway, Wilberforce.
Bradley Wilberforce Galloway.
Going to PAX in September and me asking him, if you see the folks from Warframe, tell them about the podcast, not quite thinking it would happen. Brad, who tried to get into Warfers, 4 times before this?
Yeah, totally.
Not only went and did just that and spoke to them, but took a picture with Danielle for good measure and posted Warframe bandanas and plaid to us. For Brad then to kind of try a 5th time to get into the game, joining in the big conversation, getting it, clicking with it to such a degree that he whooshed past us.
He's way past us now. He is mastery rank like 14 or some shit now.
I mean, it kind of culminates in my favourite dichotomy of the year. From a gentleman who tried 4 times to get into a game to a gentleman and his good lady both wearing matching Warframe hats, Brad pretending to fall on the floor, and Gina reviving him in a supermarket. This is the best thing. So, I mean, thank you to everyone that's been a part of the last 6 months. It's been crazy special, and it wouldn't have been a fraction as enjoyable without your stories, questions, revelations. We've had like the most feedback we've ever had for each of the shows, which has been great. You've made all of this more, and for that I really can't thank you enough. So yeah, that's why Warfers is my favourite game 2017.
And to be honest, you know, I mean, the Plains of Eidolon came out this year, so it totally counts.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, that does count. Yeah, I really can't add much more than that. I expected to be able to fill in more blanks there, but you've covered them all. Who's your favourite Warframe?
At the minute, I know what you think I'm going to say, but at the minute, I'd probably go Vault.
Oh.
I've got that lovely new skin for him as well, and it's really good. Oh. Plus, I've got stuff about Warframe that I've not told you about, because it's been a while since you've been on.
It's been like 2 months. I haven't touched it in a while. I've been busy.
I'm looking forward to us catching up and shooting the shit.
Oh,
shooting shit.
Yeah, or punching the shit.
It's gonna be good.
Punching the shit. getting Atlas back out.
Oh.
It's been a while since we got him out. So yeah, I think that wraps up. I think that wraps up our Game of the Year show. Probably 3.5 hours at this point.
The VoomphTube is it's glowing again.
Oh Jesus!
No, that's me. It's what? Hold on.
Caution, approximately 5 seconds remaining.
What?
Oh, that's not good.
What?
3, 2,
What?
Oh.
warning,
What?
warning, missile lock detected.